Hello, everybody. Pop culture curator here. And do I feel like a heel? The three of us have been talking for almost 20 minutes, thinking that we were live, and then thanks to Jill noticing we weren't. And it's
Yeah,
like,
good thing.
okay, so right, you guys probably think like, what are they doing? So I apologize for that. So I'll speed to this as quick as
Yeah,
I can.
good thing
Welcome
Jill
back.
noticed that.
Yeah, welcome back to another Lost in Space stream. It's Monday at 6. This time I'm doing it from my hotel room. So apology ahead of time. I may have to step away sometimes. Like if a nurse comes in or somebody wants to come in and do my vitals, I'll have to mute. And I hope you guys can chat between yourselves while I'm doing so. And I'll try to cover as much of the chat as possible. I know some of you guys have been waiting, and especially a long time because we're 20 minutes late starting the stream. And I want to say hello to Lemon Pie, who says, Hail Pop. PvP, who is here on the panel. Howdy, says LDG.
Hello.
LDG says, been waiting for over 20 minutes. Where's my drink? That was probably 40 minutes ago.
Yeah, hi everybody again. I already
Yeah,
said
I'm so
hi to all
sorry.
you guys.
Yeah, we thought we were
I just,
talking to you. We were covering all the chat.
yeah,
We were already into the. I
I can
feel
only
like
Well,
a
imagine
fool.
what the chat was thinking.
yeah, I got here just a few minutes ago and I realized, hey, it says
Uh,
scheduled, not live.
you saved us, Jill. Just think how embarrassing it would have been if we'd done like a 3 hour stream that never went on.
I know.
That would have been something else, boy.
Exactly. Lemon. And I drew to Jill says hello to everybody. Lemon Pie says hello
Yeah,
LDG.
I did.
And Lemon Pie says LDG. It wound up in my hand somehow. And LDG says hi Lemon. And Lemon says hello Jill and Picker. LDG says dang it Lemon. And I don't want to show my own. Lemon Pie says, cheers. Lemon Pie says, speaking of drinks, PvP may be sliding up to the bar with a hearty eggnog.
Yeah,
And
he drank all the eggnog.
Yeah, it's a
he
little
did
short.
drink all the eggnog.
I'll have to wait till October to restock my fridge. So
Okay. And there he is, the message he sent Jill. And Daniel, welcome, Daniel. It's so good to see you. I hope you're still here.
Hey,
I
Daniel.
actually, I actually spent a couple minutes talking to you, Daniel, and you weren't even listening because I wasn't live. But Daniel, welcome to my channel. This is
uh,
the original Lost in Space. And I saw where you, and I'll cover your next chat where you said you liked the '98 movie, but you haven't seen the original series. I highly recommend the original series. Give it a chance. I think you'll enjoy it. Lemon Pie says, "Hi Dan, sizzling focus." Mikey says, "Hello Pop." Mikey says, "Hi PvP."
yeah,
Mikey says, "Hi
good.
Jill." Daniel says, "Hi Mikey." Hi four score, says Lemon Pie. Hi Daniel's Hot Topics, welcome, says Mikey. Mikey says, "Hi Lemon." Hello Lemon Pie, says Daniel. And LOL Lemon, says Mikey. Daniel says, here we go. This is the one I was addressing. I never saw the OG Lost in Space. I only saw the 1998 movie that was a good movie. Look this up, Daniel. You'll find it free on Tubi, Tubi. And we're on the first season, Daniel, by the way. You'll notice it's a little different than Star Trek. Star Trek was a little more mature because it was broadcast at a later time at night. This one's more family oriented. And Mikey says, hi, LDG. And Mikey says, I did another 3 hour stream for you, Pop. Hope it helps you out. Thank you, Mikey. That means a lot to me. Yes, it
Yeah.
does help. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Mikey. That was very sweet of you.
Yeah, very kind. And we have Mikey says, let's help Pop get to 260 subs. He's only two away, and I didn't even know that. I haven't even been looking. So thank you, Mikey. Phantom Boomer, howdy. And it says hello to everybody. Good to see you, Phantom Boomer.
Hello,
Lemon
Phantom.
Pie says, hi, Phantom. And Mikey says, hello, Phantom. And we're doing a stream tomorrow, by the way, everyone, a fundraiser for Mike Hawes. And this time, last time it was to pay the rent for June, which everybody graciously did. My living expenses and my rent kept the roof over my head, and I still have my dogs. But I've been offered a place to stay in Arizona with my good friends, Jedi Bill and Nina. And I'm gonna try. I set a goal where I'm gonna try to move to Arizona if I can and get out of crazy California. So I'm gonna do a fundraiser for that tomorrow on Jedi Bill's channel. If you could check that out, and there's a link to it. It'll be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And if none of you have heard of Jedi Bill, he's wonderful. He's funny. He does karaoke. He likes sci-fi, horror, westerns, all that good stuff. Please join us
And
tomorrow if you can.
Gorilla's here.
Hey there.
Hey, Gorilla, good to see you.
The star of the show.
I won't say I'm a star, but
And-
sorry I'm late.
Actually, you're not that late. We're the ones that are late. I made a serious mistake. We were like 20 minutes late.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say I just spent the last hour staring at a bunch of cow asses as the guy explains how they milk the whole milking process and how regulated the milking industry is.
It sounds like you're watching a documentary.
No, live action documentary.
In person.
The Cub Scouts. The guy volunteers to do a dairy tour for the Cub Scouts every year.
Oh, well, that's cool.
So
Mikey
we're-
says,
That's great. That's great for the kids to know where their milk comes from.
Yeah, it's out on an actual dairy farm.
right, because remember, we're living in the day and age now where milk still comes from cows. That's not going to last. That's going to end in our lifetime. They're trying to get rid of that.
Well, I still want to know who's the first person to look at a cow water, see the stuff come out, and go, I think that'd be delicious to drink.
I think as long as I'm in Texas, I'll be okay. We love our cows here. They can't take them from us.
We have
Keep
very
up-
good milk in Canada,
Yeah,
by the way.
keep up the good fight.
'Cause
Mikey
I know
says,
a lot
Mikey
of the
says-
milk. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
I just want to get to the chat and get caught
Yeah,
up.
sure.
We're
Go
behind.
for it. Please.
Mikey says, thank you, Jill, for the link. I'll be there for the fundraiser. Thank you, Mikey. That'll be great to see you.
Hey,
Lemon Pie says, thank you, Jill. And Mikey says, my Just a Simple stream premiered on my channel earlier. Check it out as we continue to help Pop. Thanks, Mikey.
Yeah, that's very cool of you to do that, Mikey.
And Lemon Pie has a link here. Thank you, Lemon Pie. Thank you. Lemon Pie says, Mikey's earlier stream. Check that after the stream, not during, if you can. Mikey says, check it out after the stream. And the same thing I said, and the fundraiser stream tomorrow night. And Mikey says, thank you, Lemon Pie. Much appreciated. LDG says it begins. Yeah, I know, finally, right? I'm sorry, LDG. See, look at that, 6:19. So we were almost 20 minutes late. And Mikey says, yay. Captain Phantom Nerd says hello. Hello, Captain Phantom Nerd.
Hello,
Good to
Captain.
see you. Welcome. Lemon Pie says, hoping for a great turnout for tomorrow's Jedi stream for Pop. Yes, so am I. Everybody, if you can, spread the word.
it's going to be
Um,
awesome.
It's going to be fun. Gorilla's going to sacrifice his liver once again. I think it'll be. I'm hoping to get a lot of good guests in there.
I'm sure lots. Excuse me. I'm sure lots of folks will turn up for sure.
Yeah, we'll be talking about a lot of topics about movies and sci-fi and everything. It'll be an open topic, open panel. So that'll
That
be
should be
really
great.
fun.
Wow.
Welcome,
Oh,
Scogly.
good.
Good
That
to
means
see
I
you.
don't
Hey,
have to prepare
lovely.
anything. That's
Don't
exciting.
have to, right? We don't have to prepare. We don't have to do the slides, but we enjoy your slides.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will.
Well,
I
can
will
bring
miss
out-
that.
Yes, I can bring out slides I already have if you want to request any from anything we've already reviewed.
Just-
In fact, that reminds me. I'm gonna mention. I'll bring that up here in a few minutes. I'll get back to that.
Okay.
Just
Go-
send Jill a list of topics, and she can like throw those slides together in no time. I bet.
No, I have a
Yeah,
feeling
as
it's
long
a
as
little.
they're already made.
Yeah, as long as you already got
There you
them. Right?
go. Scogly says, cheers, friends. Mikey says, hello, Captain.
Hey.
Basil says, hi, everyone. Cheers. Hi, everyone. Hello, Basil. Good to see you.
Basil.
Basil. Hi, Basil.
Gap After Dark. Hey, good to see you.
Hey, Gap.
Hello.
Gap says, hey, Pops,
Uh-oh.
PP, and Jill. Mike says, hello, Scogly and Basil. Gap says, hello, everybody. Gap After Dark says, how are you feeling, Pops? I am hanging in there, so I really appreciate it. It could be worse. The fact that I've got my good friends Bill and Nina offering to help, believe me, that makes me feel so much better. Lemon Pie says, hi, Gap and Basil. And Bird of Prey 5 Kapla. So good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Just a moment.
Kapla.
Bird.
The tray. The tray. Oh, you got the tray is over here.
Hold on. Hold on, guys. I got to mute. Are you picking up trays?
Yeah, but you ain't started.
No, because I was busy, but I'll eat later.
Take your time.
Thank you. That was, they, just as I was preparing for the stream, that's why, that's another reason for the delay. Just as I was preparing for the stream, they brought the stupid dinner and stuck the tray in front of my face. I couldn't even reach the laptop. So I had to move the tray out of the way and put it over on the counter. And I figured maybe I'll eat later, maybe I won't. I don't know. It's hospital food, so probably not. So that was the guy that comes to collect the trays. So that's what that was. But it's good to see you, Bird, and I enjoyed your stream earlier, sir. And I hope you can join us tomorrow on Jedi Bills. And thank you for shout out, Bird, for the fundraiser. That means a lot to me. Very kind of you. Hook 130 says, hey, Gap. And Gap says, hey, Lemon Pie. Gap After Dark says, hey, Bird, how are you feeling? And Hook 130 says, Lemon Pie. And Mikey says, Kapla, Brother Bird. Gap After Dark says, hey, Hook 130. Bird says, hey,
Herc.
Gap After Dark. Lemon Pie says, Herc, Bird of Prey. Mikey says, hello, Herc and Gap. Herc 130 says, hello, Antiderivative Jill. Bird of Prey 5 says, Kapla all. LDG says, that's funny. I hope it wasn't something I said.
No, what was funny was that we were talking the late stream. But it would be even funnier if we only found out about now.
I know, it would be worse if we were like, oh no. At least now we're only 12 minutes into it. I mean, we were almost 20 before Jill realized.
Yeah,
Gap
Jill
After
saved
Dark
us
says,
tonight. Boy.
yeah, Gap After Dark says LDG. And I don't want to show stream elements right now. Oh,
Except thank you for
Daniel. Oh,
subscribing.
Daniel. Yeah, Daniel, thank you for subbing. I really appreciate it. I think you'll find enough stuff on this channel to entertain you and keep you busy for a while. I think you'll learn a few things. If you like Gilligan's Island, we have a Gilligan's Island stream as well. Phantom Boomer says, Herc 130. Lemon Pie says, PvP's lack of eggnog in current stock is irrelevant. Resistance to this gag is futile.
Oh, Lemon, you're awesome, man.
That makes sense.
That's so good. Bless Lemon for keeping a running gag running.
Gap says, hey, Phantom Boomer. Gap says, hello, stream elements. Right. Captain Phantom Nerd says, Mikey Seuss 4, hi. Erk says, hey, Phantom Boomer. I got your last DM on the water. Gap After Dark says, great job, Mikey. Mikey says, thank you, Gap. Phantom Boomer says, hi, Gap After Dark. And Herc says, Jedi Bill and Luna are top notch. Interesting. I haven't heard of Luna. I need to check that out. Thank you. Gap After Dark says, welcome. Hey, there you go. I got it right.
I thought his
Gap After
cat's
Dark
name was
says-
Midnight.
Gap After Dark says, hey, Phantom. Lemon Pie says, once more, the fundraiser tomorrow. There it is, everybody, 4 p.m. Pacific time on Jedi Bill's channel, if you can make it. It'll be a blast. Mikey says, hey, Gorilla Brother.
Yeah, guys, help pop culture curator escape California and get to Arizona.
That's
Tomorrow
exactly
on
this
Jedi
news,
Bill's
right?
channel.
And it literally is an escape. And welcome to the channel, Sippington McDrinks-a-Lot. I like that name.
Hello, Sippington.
Sippington drinks a lot. Is that Harambe?
Sippington. Are we? Has Sippington been here in the Lost in Space before? I don't remember that
No,
name.
Sippington. I don't. Sippington. I know this is your first time here, but I don't. I don't really like that kind of language or symbolism on my channel. If you can not do that, I would
But it
appreciate
is a reference to Gorilla's avatar. Although Gorilla does have
It
to be
is.
right back. So, oh yeah, it's a response to the euthanasia of a gorilla who had to be taken down because a kid was in the cage in the enclosure. So it was a big dramatic thing that happened a few years
Oh,
ago.
that sounds bad.
No, yeah, that
Wow.
is terrible. I was just concerned with the Dicks Out reference and the graphics with the
Mhm.
text.
Hmm.
Gap After Dark says, "Hey, Captain, Phantom Nerd," and Captain says, "Gap After Dark, hey." Gap After Dark says, "Hey, gorillas." And Herc 130 says, "Is it really gorilla sacrificing his liver?" I remember. Oh, please don't throw me into the briar patch by Brer Rabbit. And I'm going to explain something really quick. Sippington, to put it in context. We're doing Lost in Space tonight from the 1960s. So I try to keep the content on the panel and in the chat related to, let's just say, related to the rating of whatever we're watching. So if we're covering a 1960s show, I usually try not to put a lot of vulgar language, symbolism, or any of that in there. If you catch us on our horror sci-fi streams on Tuesday, it's pretty much open game, fair game. Everybody says everything. Or on our rumblings, my rumblings from the lab, where it's open topic, same thing there. You'll hear swearing and all the other stuff. But if I cover stuff like Lost in Space or Gilligan's Island, I try to keep it appropriate to the show because I know kids might be watching.
Yeah, I would think trying to keep it at least PG would probably be the thing to do, right, Pop?
Yeah.
Like at most. I think
It's,
usually we're pretty good with most of us. Well, on the panel, I think we're generally pretty good at that. But yeah,
Sippington McDrews lot says, "Geez, this really could be Pop's last stream." Well, hopefully not. I've got a few
hopefully
more up my
not.
yeah, I got a few more up my sleeve. Captain Phantom Nerd says, "Vertebrae 5, hi." Vertebrae 5 says, "Hospital food is still food usually." Yeah, Vertebrae, you're right, Vertebrae. But it was like I was telling PvP in the backstage, when if you close your eyes and you bite into the food and eat it, and someone said, "What are you eating?" You'd say, "I don't know." They
That's
brought
not
me a
good.
they brought me a burger, and I didn't taste what would have been a burger. It didn't.
It's
They have
probably one of
some.
those meatless burger thingies.
It could be they have some miraculous way of just extracting out any juice or flavor. I don't know if they
Mm,
have that patented or not.
seems like it.
Um,
Even here, it's pretty much the same thing. Like I've been in the hospital a few times over the years, and the food is pretty bad generally.
yeah. So
Time I
what?
went, it was pretty good. I got a menu. I got to pick what I wanted, and it was
Oh,
A
I do. I have
menu?
a menu. I do
What?
have a menu. I have a menu that shows breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or they
Well,
have a grill.
yeah, I guess there was a tiny menu, but I don't think there was like much selection, to be honest, if I remember. Oh
But
well.
yeah, we do. We have a menu here. It's just that I don't like it. It's a hospital, so they're not gonna. They don't want to. There's so many people who can't eat this and they can't eat that, so they don't put any spices in any of their foods, and they cook it where everything's almost sterile.
I think they
So
kind
I
of
can
play it
expect that.
safe. Yeah, exactly. They kind of play it safe, right?
Yeah, Vertebrae Five says hello, Captain Phantom Nerd, and I don't want to show. Mikey says you should order some Mickey D's instead of hospital crap food. In fact, thank you, Mike. I wanted to point that out. Is right now I'm living on the budget from the fundraiser raised by all of you guys out there who donated. And I've been really very frugal with the money, and I don't want to waste it on anything that I don't have to. But thank you, Mikey. Hello, Captain Infinity, who says cheers. So good to see you, Captain.
hello, Captain
Jimmy
Finity.
Chin McDrinks Lot says, Captain,
Hey,
my
Captain.
captain. DBB, hello, DBB. Good to see you. Glad you could join us. Hey, Pops and company.
Hey, citizen.
Captain Infinity, as you all know, I am on strike until we have a mirror live stream do over. Captain, I haven't had a chance to talk about that. but we were going to talk about that. But Captain, why don't we do that on your channel? Why don't we? And I did talk to Jill about it, and it sounds like fun if we do a what did I call it? Like a double feature with City on the Edge of Forever and Mirror Mirror, and we kind of cover a little more of the Harlan Ellison story that City on the Edge of Forever was based on.
Yeah, I'd
And that
love
way,
to see
yeah,
that.
because a lot of people haven't read that story, so this will give insight to why Harlan Ellison was so upset when he rewrote it.
Yeah, that's something to consider. I will think about it.
Well, the thing was, I did a little bit of research the other day on it after you were mentioning it, right? And it's not just Harlan. There seems like I can't remember the other writer's name, but a writer that went back like many years ago that had some of the same concepts in a couple of their stories that maybe people like Harlan had read, and maybe that kind of filtered into his brain when he was writing some of this stuff. So I think it could be a much more complex topic than first appears, right? So
Well,
Well, it's always
the mirror was one of the first few stories that Gene listed as something he wanted to do.
yeah, the mirror, that was the name, but there was another one as well. I'm trying to remember the writer. I did look it up the other day, but oh gosh, I probably lost
well.
it now.
That's just like you have a lot of people who write stuff that influenced by others, but there's
Yeah,
a difference between influence and outright, stealing or borrowing. And usually, if they steal or borrow, I mean, they're free to sue, right? If they're lying,
right,
or their
right,
estate
right.
can do it.
Yeah.
And that's the drama of it that we probably will explore.
Harlan would sue everybody though, right?
But
He was
Captain,
famous for suing people.
Captain, let's try to arrange a stream as soon as possible. Let's see what we can do about like a double feature.
That'd be fun.
DB, yeah, I think it would be really fun. DBB says, "Glad you're still alive, pops." Well, so am I, DBB. Thank you. Every day I wake up, I'm still blessed. DBB says, "Ahoy, Captain." I'm sorry, guys. I know we're running late. I'm trying to get caught up on the chats. I try to read all the chats. Mikey Boris says, "Hi, DBB." Captain Infinity says, "Hail, DBB, the other person on YouTube that gets time travel." Hello, Ola Greg. Good to see you. Glad you could join us. And Ola Greg says, "Hi, everyone." DBB says, "Hello, Mikey 4. Sipitim Extremes a lot says, "Captain, you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself if Decker was really a replicant." And Captain says, "Was he?" And Mikey says, "I understand time travel to an extent, so there." Sorry, I had to lean forward because the laptop's like 2 feet away from me, 3 feet. DBB says, "Let the feeling, LOL, the feeling is mutual, Captain." And Captain says, "I doubt it." Captain Boomer says, "Cap." Ola
Yeah,
Greg
what I
says,
missed.
we need a Magatu on this panel," says Ola Greg. Yes, yes.
Yeah, what I missed.
I've just been reading the chat, Gorilla.
Okay, I was on
Mike,
the phone.
okay, Mikey says, "Hey, Ola Greg." Boomer says, "Hey, Ola Greg, howdy." And Ola Greg says, "Hey, Mikey." Ola Greg says, "Dry and tough. Some people in my family have that recipe." Ola Greg says, "Hail, Phantom." Yeah, the breakfast, they brought up this little sausage patty, and I swear it was a circle cut out of leather. I mean, it was dry, the worst thing imaginable. So I have to figure out what's
You.
good and what's bad. Orla Greg, hail, Captain. And Captain says, "I already said I ain't doing it on my channel." Okay. Daniel's Hot Topic said the old Lost in Space looks fun. It is. I think you'll enjoy it, Daniel. I highly recommend it. Captain Infinity says, "I'm not a YouTuber now. I'm a science fiction author. I've guest on panels." Okay.
I just want to
Oh,
mention to Daniel, like,
okay.
if you're not sure about actually watching it, maybe watch a few of our live streams on here discussing certain episodes,
Yeah, but I'd
and
rather have
maybe
them
that.
watch it first. I don't want
Well,
us
I
discussing
agree,
it. It will ruin it. Yeah,
I
Daniel.
agree,
I don't
but
know if you heard me earlier, Daniel, but you can find it for free on Tubi, tubi.com.
it's also on a Soap Today, which is where I always watch it, and I've had great success. It's just great quality, and I've never had an issue watching it on there. So
Yeah,
Wait, it's
that's
on
where I watch.
Tubi?
Soap Today, yeah, I've watched it on there
No,
last
no,
night.
wait a minute. when you could be right. Yeah, Soap Today is where I watched it last night. So
Yeah, me
Daniel,
too. Me
it's
too.
SOAP number 2DAY.
Yeah, the quality is really good on there too.
Yes, it is.
Oh, the
CDB says, yeah, there is a fine line between homage and plagiarism. Good point, Pops. And, oops, don't want, got stream elements. And by the way, I do want to promote Scogly's channel. That is, check out Scogly's channel. He's an excellent and fine musician to everybody. And I'm sorry for going through these so fast, but it's because we're running late, and I know that everybody's busy, and your
Yeah, we
time is
gotta get
very
to the puppy.
valuable.
Yeah, we better get going soon here because we are running real late.
And I know, I think I'm almost there. Phantom Boomer says, Herc 130, more DMs. Captain Infinity says, imitation is the sincerest form of plagiarism. Captain says, I totally stole that joke.
That was good.
And Captain Infinity says, I'm not joking.
Oh,
And
that's even
DVB
better.
says, if only you could get paid for getting ripped off, then maybe it could be kind of sincere in that case. LOL, Captain. And believe it or not, we're caught up with the chat.
yeah, yeah.
Yay. Let's get to the puppy.
Okay, since we're talking about the puppy, this is where Star Trek is better than Lost in Space.
Well, of
I'll
course.
tell you right now.
Remember, give me a
But,
preliminary review, not a preliminary, not a final.
no, this is a preliminary.
Is
This
this
a
an
preliminary.
automatic F I'm hearing coming up here?
Well, I wasn't saying that, but
Uh,
Star Trek has no problem gluing stuff to an animal's face there.
yeah, you're right
talking
about that.
Enemy within, I'm guessing.
yeah.
Well, the puppy in that one, he was wearing a little suit, a little unicorn puppy. So he'd be a little.
Unicorn puppy.
I think it was a Pomeranian, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. That's a good
Yeah.
call. Yeah. Pomeranian puppy. That's
I
gonna
thought they
get
could have
really
done
good.
something there with the dog, but that's not here and there.
Okay, so we're on the first season of Lost in Space, and we're on episode 13. One of our dogs is missing. This episode originally premiered on December 8th, 1965. Usually, I have a reference book that I got called the Lost in Space, the authorized biography or autobiography. My
I think
mind
it's
is.
biography, actually.
They had me on morphine, so I'm trying to do this as best as possible. I apologize. By Mark Cushman. And I recommend that book to everybody. He also wrote a series of books for Star Trek, and the man goes into some really intense detail on every single episode, the writing behind the scenes, putting the script together, everything. So it's fantastic. I recommend it.
I just want to quickly mention, Pop, that there's a volume 2 to the Lost in Space book by Mark Cushman.
Well, volume 2 is season 2. Volume 3 is season 3.
Yeah, because I noticed it when I checked it on Amazon earlier when I tweeted it to Jill, right? The title. So
Believe me or not, when I was packing, what I did is I brought a backpack to the hospital with like some clothes and a few snacks, whatever. And I
Right.
considered putting that book in there, but that's like putting a phone book in there. And I thought, oh, that's too much to carry. But I do regret leaving that book behind. But I'll do my best to at least, bring up. I don't obviously since I don't have the book to reference back to. I'll still do my best of trying to entertain. Is the best way I could say it.
Well, the
Okay.
reason I'm on this slide is because the entire episode we don't get to see the guys on the chariot too much, so it's important to know that they're trying to set up a series of microwave relay stations.
What are those
Yes, they
supposed
are.
to do?
I don't know if they explained it.
So microwave, are they trying to like increase their communication abilities then? Like,
Yes,
oh, okay, that
precisely.
makes sense. Makes sense.
Right. So we have the men and Will and the robot when they are unfortunately caught in a meteorite storm. I guess would be the proper term, wouldn't it, Jill?
Yes, that's what they refer to it as.
I thought they said meteor storm, but I could be wrong.
I think they did say meteor storm, didn't they?
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, boy, that was a really cool opening sequence. I gotta say, like I assume these are some kind of practical effects, but
All
boy,
practical.
it sure looked great, I gotta say.
Oh, you're right. It should say meteorite. Yes, correct.
But
That's
that's
what
one
you're
thing.
saying.
Yeah, but that's one thing about Irwin Allen. He loved explosions and splashy, over the top effects like that. Uh, Irwin Allen was, in fact, I covered last week that every time there was a big effect that they were getting ready to cover, he always made sure he was on set because he enjoyed it. And the cast in interviews said
That's
he was like a
great.
kid watching all these things happen.
That's awesome.
It's great when you
So
grow
here's
up
the,
and you don't lose that sense of imagination.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's why I'm here.
It reminds me of George Powell, the guy who did the Time Machine and War of the Worlds. He was the same way.
Yeah. Well, life's too short to grow old in your head, right?
It is.
Can't do nothing about your body, but you don't have to grow old in your mind.
Here's where we have the ladies and Dr. Smith back at the Jupiter 2, noticing the meteor storm on the viewer.
Mm.
And Dr. Smith, of course, immediately is blowing it out of proportion and trying to put paranoia into them.
I
And
knew it. Doomsday.
he's totally freaking out too. Good old Dr. Smith. Oh boy.
See, he's the reason that aliens would never visit us because every time, like the Falcons could step down in peace and all that, he'd be screaming, "It's an invasion."
Well, is that old theory about aliens would see like broadcasts from back then, probably just be getting them now because of the distances in space. So can you imagine if they actually got the transmissions just now of Lost in Space? There'd be no bloody way they'd ever be coming to Earth once they watched enough of Dr. Smith, right?
Either that, the warrior ones would see Captain Kirk's the one protecting Earth, and not they want to go up against him.
That too. Yeah, good point. William Welch. Hey, is this his first script for the show?
Well,
I
as
think it's
far
the
as,
second one.
yeah, I'm not sure because I don't have the book in
Just
front of
I've
me.
got the Lost in Space website up here. I'm just gonna take a quick peek if I can find him. Oh, darn scrolling. Just give me a second. Ugh. William Welch. There
DVB
you.
said George Lucas got ripped off and plagiarized. George Lucas, everything he wrote was inspired. I'm going to be nice. Everything George Lucas he did was inspired by other events. I'll put it that way. So George Lucas wasn't exactly original on everything. I could give you a list of things that Star Wars um, where it was inspired by. I'll put, like I said, I'll keep it nice.
William Welsh also wrote The Hungry Sea.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I just found that fifth episode. So yeah, this is his second then.
There will be two more after this, but we'll worry about those when we get to them.
Yeah.
DVB says poor rich bastard. Yeah, exactly right. Suffering in all his billions. Isn't that horrible? Captain Penny says, "Yeah, get your own desert planet, your own desert planet, Frank Herbert." DVB says, "Nice deep cut, Captain." Mad G says, "Jill," and others.
Oh,
Hello,
President of the Jill fan
Maggie.
club. President of the Jill fan club shows up.
There we go. Mikey says the little beagle's cousin appeared later as Fraser's dog on TV.
Really?
Oh, really? That's cool.
Wow.
Well, wait, hold on, guys. We're talking about 20 to 30 years. That's not very
Yeah.
likely.
That must have been a distant
Well, it
cousin.
could.
Yeah,
but it could
a
be.
descendant, maybe a descendant. Wait a
It
Yeah.
second.
could be.
The dog
Yeah.
on Fraser wasn't a beagle.
Right. The dog on Frasier was
He was a terrier.
Jack Terrier, Russell Terrier,
Yeah.
Jack Terrier. One of those.
was it a
Oh,
rat?
he was a terrier. I know that.
Yes. Captain Infinity says, "Get your own death portrait, Akira Kurosawa, you damn hack."
Nice Kurosawa reference. Awesome,
Now,
Captain.
that's somebody, Akira Kurosawa.
Jack? Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Jill.
The dog on Frasier was a Jack Russell Terrier.
That's
That's why I
it.
was getting the names mixed up. Yes. Captain Infinity says, "Get your own death portraits of Akira Kurosawa." I'm a big fan of Akira Kurosawa, and that man was original in a lot of the things he did. Matt G says, "Cheers." Captain Infinity says, "Raiders of the Lost Art, indeed." And Captain says, "Actually, in the air, it's a meteoroid." But I thought it was a meteorite after it hits the atmosphere. I could be wrong.
Yes, that's right. Captain Infinity is correct. It's a meteoroid when it's in the atmosphere, and a meteorite once it's landed.
How come they can't just keep
A
all the
correction.
bloody names the same?
I don't know.
Because then they don't say a meteorite in space, a meteorite moving, a meteorite flying, a meteorite in the air, a meteorite on the ground. They just say a meteor, meteorite, meteor. I'm losing track of the
Well,
difference.
that's
See,
science for you, right? They got to
actually,
make it as complicated as they can, right? Just to confuse all us, kind of not scientific folks.
Well, it inspires us to learn.
Well, that's true.
Captain Penny says when it lands, it becomes a meteorite, which is correct. Mikey says breeding cousins, LOL. Captain Finney says meteorite. There we go. Lemon Pie says DBB Lucas is the most sympathetic multi-billionaire of them all. I know, right? Look at all the money he's giving away. Daniel's Hot Topic says, do you think anyone who worked on this show is still around? Absolutely. Most of
Oh
them
yeah,
are actually, Daniel. Only two of them are dead.
yeah. Most of the
Three
cast
of
is
them are
still around.
dead. Daniel, three of them are dead. The guy who plays the father, John Robinson, the guy who plays Dr. Smith that we're looking at now, and the guy in the robot costume. But other than that, the other ones are still alive. Even the one who plays the mother, June Lockhart, she's like in her 80s or 90s, and she still
Yeah,
works out and does fitness and all that. She's in great condition.
that's pretty awesome. Yeah, and Dawn and Judy and of course Penny are all still around, right? So
Yep. They're all still around. They do
yeah.
conventions, which I wish I would have went to when I was
Oh,
doing Star Trek conventions.
I'd love to go to a Lost in Space convention and meet them. Oh, that'd be so cool.
I have them roll out the robot with the the original guy
I just like
inside.
to
Yeah.
meet them and tell them how much I love their show and get their autographs. Just to meet them would be
Mm-hmm.
great. You know.
Yep. Captain Finity says it's like Costanza. It rhymes. DBB says, yeah, but also too trusting at Lemon Pie. And DBB says, great to see you, Lemon Pie. Captain Finity says, I may have gone too far in like literally every scene. Daniel says Star Wars was inspired by Buck Rogers. Well, it was also inspired,
Bless
Daniel.
you.
They used to make a lot of okay. Other than Buck Rogers, they made a lot of cliffhanger serials back in the day that kids would pay like a dime to go to the theaters. It would last for 15 or 20 minutes. It would end on a cliffhanger that would bring them back to following week to watch the next one, and that's how they would attract them into the main features. Whenever they had a B movie, they would put these cliffhanger serials before the movie to attract kids. They'd have those in cartoons.
I can remember actually going to the Saturday cinema and seeing those. Like, that's how old I am, right? Though it wasn't 10 cents, thank goodness. It was 25 cents by then, but still, that's a while ago. But yeah, I just want to mention though, thinking of Kurosawa, the Hidden Fortress was partly something that inspired George Lucas to do Star Wars as well. I just wanted to mention.
Well, right. Well, look at Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. You know the bridge sequence.
Oh yeah.
That's directly from the Perils of Pauline, which was a cliffhanger where it had a strong female character who was the star of the serial,
Well,
and it's almost scene for scene taken from from the Perils of Pauline.
I'll give Lucas credit for that. I think he definitely was a film scholar. Like, he learned his stuff early on by probably watching a lot of these classic, films, right?
Yeah, he was
And
a
it's like,
geek.
yeah, and it's like, I don't know if anybody remembers this film, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, with Ray Harryhausen, great effects and all that. But there's a
Yeah,
sequence in that, I think, where the bridge collapses and they have to like swing across this gap, over molten lava. And to me, I've always thought that must have inspired Lucas, where that one scene, right, where they had to like swing across to escape, the
yep.
stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good night to Gap After Dark. He has to
Good
leave.
night, Gap. I didn't
Good
see
night,
that,
Gab.
but thank you for calling that out, Jill. And Mikey says, Daniel, the actors who played Don, Judy, Will, and Penny are still alive. There we go. Thank you, Mikey. Captain Vinny says, she's far too trusting. Nice, subtle reference, DBB. And Matt G is laughing. DBB says, it's so dense. Every image has so many things going on. LOL, Captain. Daniel says, or Flash Gordon, Star Wars was inspired. Yes. Yeah, basically a combination of several things, including Metropolis, which I'm hoping that if I cover on my channel eventually on my horror sci-fi stream.
That would be
DBB,
fantastic.
yes, 1926,
Great film.
47, 26, 27. DBB Smiles at Captain. And Matt G says, LOL, old dog. Dalek451, hello, Dalek. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're doing well. Evening
Hi,
all. How are
Dalek.
you, Pop?
Hi,
I
Dalek.
am hanging in there, Dalek. I'm doing the
Hello,
best.
Dalek.
They had me on morphine, so I'm doing better than usual. So thank you, Dalek. Captivinity says, Rick, take the money and run, McCallum. Yeah, you got that right. DBB says, do I know you? Dalek451. Captivinity says, last seen neck deep in cocaine and hooker. I don't know about that. Mikey says, Jack Russell Terrier, my mistake, but they come from similar breeds.
I have
Okay.
to go take care of something. I'll
Go
return.
for it. Family
Okay.
stuff. DBB says, aren't you the one who found the fourth timeline in the first Back to the Future at Dalek451? Captivinity says, how is that writer's block working out, Dalek451? And Dalek says, not sure, DBB, most people here know me. I know Dalek, I've known him for a while. Captivinity says, it's shoe obfuscation. DBB says, just joking with you, Dalek. And Dalek says, been trying to get past tonight, Captain. Oops, don't want to show us. Oh, do visit LDG channel, LDG. But you got, by the way, guys, when you see these links, I do highly recommend. These people are my dear friends, and I also have links to their channel. If you go to my main page on my YouTube channel, you'll see where it says channels and the people that I subscribe to, and you will find links there as well. And I highly recommend it. LDG is a very smart and funny guy. Captain Finity says, I am always joking, but then every one of my jokes contains a kernel of hard truth. Those are the best ones, Captain. Those are actually the best ones. The best comedians are the ones that turn their life into jokes. DVB, I'm the artist formerly known as Citizen 333, Dalek451. Captain Benny says, I've got writer's vomit. A little bit too much of it, Captain. Gap After Dark says, have a good stream. Here we go. Sending good vibes, Pops. I've got to go deal with a fox and bake, have her go away from my house.
Yeah, 12 gauge should do it.
Uh, always wanted a pet fox. Captain Finity says, Dillard is doing one more. Dillard is doing me more pages right now. Oh, very nice. Dillard is a fantastic artist. Gap After Dark says, oh, there it is. He's just correcting his past statement there. Captain Finity says, 64 pages now. Wow, that's a
Wow,
lot.
that's
That's
nice.
very,
Boy, you're getting a
very
major
extensive.
major comic going there.
Yeah. Captain Finity says, Perils of Pauline. She was always showing a bit of lingerie. Yes, back in the day, that was may have been before the code was cracked down in the movies on that sort of thing. I think even Metropolis had nudity, I think, if I remember right. Captain Finity says lingerie there. He's correcting his spelling. I give you credit for that, Captain. Due diligence. Matt G says, in Lucas era Clone Wars, there's an episode that features a monster that's obviously Godzilla. Yeah, I don't know who writes the Clone Wars. Captain Finity says Godzilla clone. You mean like Mecha Godzilla? Captain Finity says it's called Clone Wars because every episode is a ripoff of something else. I never really got that much into it. If it wasn't George Lucas, it was like wasn't it wasn't really a big deal for me, or it wasn't a priority. Captain Finity's laughing. We got a lot of chat tonight. Daniel Hot Topic says I might have to pick the series up if I see it at Walmart.
Actually, Daniel, you can probably find it on eBay for fairly cheap if you look around, long enough. I'm sure there's
It's
lots
on
of people.
right. It's on DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah, you could probably pick it up reasonably inexpensive if you check eBay. I usually find a lot of sellers have the cheapest prices there, much better than Amazon, which often is sky high, to be honest.
And Daniel, just so you know, there's 3 seasons of Lost in Space. The first season's in black and white. Seasons 2 and 3 are in color. Captain Infinity says, "Idea Clone Wars." And Captain Infinity says, "Yeah, Delic451 found that fourth timeline. Now third timeline because we whack a mail at the
Whack-a-mole.
closer. We whack a mold one down." And BK Dan, hello, good to see you. Welcome. Says hello,
Hello,
folks.
Hey,
PC Dan.
BK
Yeah, great
Dan.
to see BK Dan. Lemon Pie says, "Hey, BK Dan." Captifinity says, "No, I was saying that lingerie equals money." Yes, well, you're definitely right about that. Clothing should always be optional in all things, says Mikey.
Okay.
Mad G says, "If it was Lucas era Clone Wars, it was probably Lucas's idea to pay tribute to Godzilla. I don't think George Lucas had a direct hand in that show. I'm sure by then it was passed off to other people, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I didn't watch it. Captain Finity says when mostly B of 1980. Wait, we can get closer. When Marty B of 1985 gets into DeLorean B, we are assuming he went to the year 2525 because reasons. Daniel's Hot Topics is BK Dan in the chat. Hi, BK Dan. Yes, he is. And BK Dan says clothing is never optional for Ferengi females. Oops. Dalek, I'm glad I tuned in. This is hilarious. Well, Dalek, I hope you enjoy yourself. Captain Finney says Tatooine is a tribute to Arrakis.
Also hilarious is Dr. Smith. He says that there's an invasion. That's not meteoroids.
No, in fact, it's much, much worse, of course. He's got to blow everything out of proportion. And she's willing to go out there and check on those men because she's worried about them. I like how she deals with it. He tries to talk her out of it, and she says, "You're going with us, pretty much."
Yeah, that's the greatest thing about this episode is the fact that the ladies aren't just standing around this time.
Nope.
Finally, some
Nope.
action.
Yep. That's just it. When you think about it, they get more screen time than the men do in this episode. It focuses more on them, which is great.
Yeah,
It kind of
about
balances
time.
out with it balances out with some of the other episodes. But of course, doesn't matter where the women are, doesn't matter where the men are. Wherever the camera is, you're going to find Dr. Smith, right?
Well, sure. He's got to cause some trouble. Otherwise, what's the drama?
Right. Well, when you think about it, he makes it more interesting because he is that catalyst. Otherwise, it would just be the women walking around wringing their hands, saying, "Oh no, what are we going to do?" But he's that antagonist there, where he's constantly trying to make things
Well,
worse.
no, the women would be fine. They'd have weapons at least, as
Well,
we
yes,
see, as we come to see a little later.
I think if the women had weapons, they would probably, and let's say Dr. Smith wasn't there, they probably would immediately go out and look for the men. I think Dr. Smith, by doing this, is keeping them in the ship,
It's
which
true.
helps extend the episode, make it longer. I'm guessing.
Or he's just
I'm,
being a dick and just taking them apart and forgetting how to put them back together.
I
Now,
just
what would
We
can
haven't
Jill
happen
go
disclosed
when
that
back?
the
yet.
Can Jill go back a couple of slides there? One more, maybe, Jill. I'm actually really surprised that the censors let the word suicide even enter into the script.
Well, in the sentence, that's just it. It's how it's used in the sentence. He's
Yeah.
saying that it would be suicide, but if he says this, if he says so and so commits suicide, would not have been allowed.
Oh, of course.
Right. So it's how it's used in a
Obviously.
sentence.
Yeah. No, I realize that, but still, it seems like the censors, were so, so sensitive basically to the language in this show with the family hour stuff that,
Context is important, and
oh,
also
of
the
course.
author gets away with putting the women in danger in this
Yeah.
episode, and that's great too.
I
Right.
still
We get
think,
to see the women with lasers,
often though.
phasers, or whatever they are.
No, but let's face it, they wouldn't even let like Maureen and Professor Robinson hold hands after a while. Like, geez, right? So I'm actually kind of a little bit surprised that word actually worked in, but I do agree the context makes a difference.
So here we have the next day where they're out looking for the men, and they have their, I think they call them laser pistols with them. And
Yeah, I
now
think
we
they
have the
were.
holes
Yeah.
from the meteorites, which
A
they're examining.
shell hole.
This was one of my favorite
Right.
parts
Dr.
of the
Smith
episode.
still thinks they're under attack, and he thinks it's a shell hole.
He wants to make everybody paranoid, it seems. I do really. This is one of my favorite parts of the episode. I gotta say though, guys, is that finally we get to see the female part of the crew actually packing some heat, right? Like they're packing those laser pistols and those big holsters, and I thought that was very cool, actually,
Yep.
because we hadn't seen that before, right? I don't remember the ladies ever, packing lasers
Now,
around.
right, but now remember, now, yes, we get that, which I agree. It's good to see them packing, but then none of them fire it.
Well, yeah, that's true, but still, I mean, for this show, that's still a step in the right direction, so to speak, right?
Yes, it's almost like they had to wait for Dad to get there to do that. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
No, 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 I don't either. I just wanted to mention it because I thought that was kind of one of the,
Mhm.
up at this point, I thought, wow, that's really cool that they're actually letting the ladies, get some armament,
But they
packing.
convinced me that they're potentially going to fire them.
Well, exactly. I mean, the thing is, they could fire them if they needed to, right? So,
And we get this spacecraft that's wrecked. They don't exactly examine the spacecraft very, very closely, but it's there.
It seems to be a wreckage, and apparently whatever was in it can't be very big. So they are examining it. I
They
guess
say
not
it's
too worried.
too small, even for one man.
And good thing they're not worried about radioactivity.
I like how Marine picks out the breathing apparatus or whatever here, and says, there must have been somebody on the ship, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty
Yes.
cool.
Did anybody else get Invasion of the Body Snatcher vibes?
No, I got the
Mm,
Thing
not,
vibes.
not really.
No, what happens is, Gorilla, remember, we haven't gotten to those scenes yet.
No, I thought they were just talking about they're examining the pods and stuff. They said there's someone in them. That's where I was getting the.
No, they
Invasion.
meant pods like in a vessel.
Oh, okay.
Right, there was
What?
someone in the spaceship, but they don't know who it is, and now they find these cans. Their food has been broken into. So somebody
Okay,
who knows how to open cans.
here's a question I
That's
have.
so
This
important.
this is one part of the episode that puzzled me. For one thing, um, why would it need to eat the whole pantry? Like this thing must have been extremely hungry, right? Because I'm assuming they had a food supply that would have lasted months and months. So that seems a bit weird. I love how Smith is he's so heartbroken over the ham. That's good,
Well,
but it seemed a
PvP.
bit odd, this scene to me.
Yeah. Well, PvP. Have you seen the way some people eat? It doesn't surprise me.
Well, I've seen people eat, but man, that's a lot of food. Like this thing must have been really ravenous.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
yeah.
I wish
PvP.
I could find a can of ham that big.
Well,
They used to
PvP.
sell cans like that, Jill.
Jill,
When I was a kid, that's what we used to have.
can you imagine how much that can of ham would cost now, though, Jill?
Yeah.
You might not want to find it. It'll probably be
No.
like $100.
Oh, you're right. The spam is good enough for now.
Yeah. Well, PvP. I worked in a restaurant there, and
Uh-huh.
I actually witnessed a
I got 'em,
guy.
you guys.
We had a huge 20-pound prime rib there,
You're
and
kidding.
I witnessed the guy scarf down half of that, plus potatoes, plus salads, plus some shrimp and all that, and
Wow.
all that. So I've seen people pack weight. So
Yeah,
these
well,
people could have been
yeah.
extremely hungry.
I know people can't eat. Like I've probably been there myself at certain times, but wow, 10 pounds of beef and then all that other stuff. That's boy, he must have been pretty full. Wow, that's impressive.
Oh, did pop culture have to step away?
Yeah, he had to
Yeah.
mute.
Oh,
I
okay,
think there's a
gotcha.
nurse or
Okay.
something that came to help him.
Well,
so.
since he had the mute, let's catch up on chat real quick.
Yes, that's
Sounds
what I was
good.
wondering. If we
Can
could
someone
do.
read it? My voice is really struggling.
Sure.
today.
Daniel's Hot Topic says Dr. Smith in the Lost in Space 1998 movie was a bad guy. That's what my husband tells me. He saw the movie and he said it was good, and
Well,
that Dr. Smith is more of a villain, more of a straight up evil guy than he is
Smith,
here in the show.
to be honest though, Joe Smith did start off as an evil guy in the first, 6 or 7
And
or 8
that's true enough,
episodes,
and I
right?
guess that's how he's portrayed in the movie.
Yeah.
BK Dan says, I love where Bill Mooney ended up. Babylon 5. And then even one episode of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
cool.
which episode was he on in Deep Space Nine?
The siege
Oh.
of the one where Nog loses his leg.
Yeah, we just
Oh,
watched
Siege
it
of
like a
AR
couple weeks.
558.
Yeah, we just watched it a couple weeks ago, if I remember correctly.
Yes. He doesn't fare well.
Yeah, poor Nog.
Captain Finity said, did you notice That that segue from Jill? Nope. That's how smooth it was. Oh, I did that? I didn't even know. Stream Elements, check out Phantom Boomer's website. Channel, rather. Oiler Greg says Bill was great on Babylon 5 and played a crucial role. Daniel's Hot Topic says, yeah, I hear the censors on TV in the 60s were really hard.
It would depend on the show, I think, right? Like in Star Trek got away with an amazing amount of stuff for its time, right? It
It's
dealt with,
like Pop says they were on
yeah,
at a later time, so they got to have more fun.
it was all about the time zone. Yeah, exactly, Jill.
Captain Captain Infinity says Han Solo says it in Star Wars 77. BK Dan says, indeed, to Whaler Greg. Captain Infinity says, X-Wing equals kamikaze.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Dalek451 says, so which episode is this? This one is
Right.
season 1. One of our dogs is missing.
Episode 13.
Yeah, sorry to mute guys. The nurses were doing shift change.
That's okay. No worries. No worries, Pop. We
Yeah, no
understand.
problem. We were reading the chat.
Yeah, we were
Basil,
all
Thank you.
doing our thing here, so we're all
And
good.
thank you, Gorilla, for helping keep up on the chat since I wasn't
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Basil Battle Dragon says to Oiler Greg, I agree Bill Mumy was in the perfect role on Babylon 5. Daniel's Hot Topic says, do the women on the show fight hand to hand? I don't see them fight hand to hand, but in this episode,
No.
one of them throws rocks.
Right, Daniel. Just so to answer that question, in some of our previous episodes, I have a book that I refer to that talks about what they called standards and practices back then, which was the censors pretty much. And they weren't allowed to show the women in too much danger. That's why we were referring earlier that it was refreshing to see them carrying laser pistols. So that's why you won't see a lot of hand-to-hand stuff. But when you think about it, you don't see a lot of that in Star Trek either, and that was an hour later. It wasn't until the 70s we started seeing that kind of stuff on TV.
Well, I'm thinking about Emma Peel in the Avengers, though, Pop. That was pretty cool.
That was the BBC.
Yeah, well, that's it. Different country, right? So different
Uh-huh.
standards. Yeah, but
Uh-huh.
it did exist, though. I mean, there were 60 shows that had women doing hand to hand combat stuff. So
Mm-hmm. I agree. I like the
just wanted
Avengers.
to let Daniel know it. That's why I love the Avengers so much. So ahead of its time.
Captain Infinity says, wow, I guess for Biggs, it was. Oiler Greg says, Bill and Londo made a good comedy team.
I prefer Jakar and Londo.
Check out PvP's channel for some great music.
Thank you.
Captain Infinity says Biggs had been pretty depressed recently. Had been seen drinking a lot.
No.
Basil says, what do you want now, you moon-faced assassin of joy? I guess that's a Babylon 5 quote. I still need to watch it. And Captain Infinity says,
I haven't
OMG.
seen it either, Jill. So don't feel too bad.
I saw season 1 and I was like, this is great. And
Well,
I'll
you're
get back
ahead
to
of
it
me
later.
then. I've never
Oh,
seen an episode. I hate to admit.
I know, and this is going to sound superficial, but I can't. I try to watch it, but it's the makeup. I just do. I just totally abhor the makeup on that show.
Hmm. I guess it's kind of like the puppets in Farscape, Pop?
Yeah, yeah. I guess in a
Yeah.
way, yeah, different but similar.
Another
Yeah,
great show
I'm
you're
okay
missing
with
out on, but
I'm okay with the puppets, and in Babylon
yeah.
5, I'm okay with the CGI.
Well, once
No, it wasn't
Scorpius
a
arrives,
CGI, Jill. It was the. I mentioned it before. There's a certain character. Stephen First played one of the characters, the chubby guy from Animal House. He was the
hmm,
character on Babylon 5. I don't know which
I
character
remember
because I
him.
never watched the show.
He
But
played
him,
Fear or no, I forgot. Damn it.
well,
Sorry.
well, Gorilla, you know who I'm talking about then. Him and the older guy. You know what I'm talking about? The other guy?
Yeah,
That
Londo
was
and
those are the makeups that specifically those makeups made me not watch that show because that's why I still yet for me it's a hard pill to swallow to watch DS9 because I just did not like the Ferengi makeup. I know a lot of people
Well,
are shouting right now, but
that
I'm
started
sorry.
in TNG.
Oh, it did, and you know how much of a fan of TNG I am, right, Jill?
Yeah, you're. I know you're such a big Michael Westmore fan. I'm not.
Yeah, it's interesting how we all can have different reactions to different shows, right? Like some things in a show we might love and the next person might hate it, right? So that's just kind of the way, I guess that's the way art is, right?
But yeah,
I
not
mean, I know
everything appeals to everyone.
there's some objective elements, of course, something can be either good or bad if you look at it objectively, but a lot of art is quite subjective, I would think, right? So,
Captain Infinity says, "OMG." BK Dan says, "This show gave me Forbidden Planet vibes." Oh yeah, it even has the robot. Captain
And a
Infinity
force
says,
field.
"No wonder Biggs was so keen to jump into that freaking flying jalopy." Check out
I'm
Oiler
sorry.
Greg's channel.
Who's Biggs?
It's Babylon 5 stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Or maybe it's
Wait,
Star
are you
Wars
talking
stuff.
about Franklin?
Let's see. Yeah, Babylon 5. Okay, just checking. Captain Infinity says Death Star. Death Wish, more like. Am I right? BK Dan says, "Oh, that's right, Jill. Forgot Moomy was in that episode." He sure was. He was an engineer, too. Mikey Seuss 4 says, "The puppy in this episode was a boy dog, right?"
Yes, it was.
I know, and I don't know. I didn't look.
oh, he
It
was
does.
very much a boy dog from some of the scenes I saw.
Well, yeah. Well, Penny even calls him a he. So yeah, there's
Right,
no
he does
argument
stand
there.
on his hind legs, too.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious. I have to say for sure.
But it just because the dog is a boy in the show doesn't mean it's actually a boy, usually, because I think sometimes
Yeah.
Porthos was a girl in Enterprise. Daniel's Hot Topic says the dog is missing. I hope he didn't get hit by a meteor.
Oh wait. Oh, this jumped on me. Just a sec.
Mm,
Let's see.
okay,
What,
no problem.
Right there.
I appreciate it, Gorilla.
BK Dan says first couple of seasons on Doctor Who, 63 to 66, had women fighting. Nice.
Veer, that's what it was. That was Veer.
Stephen First, Beer. Okay, thank you, BK Dan. Yes, I really like Stephen First. That's why I remember the name because thanks to Animal House, I always liked Stephen First, but I couldn't watch Babylon 5.
Captain Vanity
Oh,
says as far as Star Trek goes, I'm in Club 3. So he's referring to Raquel Briggs' Club 735, which is all of Star Trek from 66 to 2005, and I guess Club 3 means that Captain Infinity goes by 3 episodes of Star Trek.
oh,
Okay.
I thought he was talking about he's a holodeck 3 or transporter room 3 guy who got person.
I thought it was episode number 3 of season 1, but I guess not.
Mikey says first.
Nobody's a
Yes,
fan.
right. That was the actor's name, right? That we're talking about. That's the correct spelling. Thank you, Mikey.
Captain Infinity says 3 essential original series Star Trek episodes that make up real Star Trek for me.
And I agree with that. They are the best.
Hashtag Club 3.
Not Seals, just Club 3.
Danny's Hot Topic says, yeah, like the further back in time you go, the harder the censors were. For example, I was watching a show, or maybe it was a TV movie from the 30s, but in it,
TV
there was,
movies in the 30s. There was no TVs in the 30s, Daniel, but
Yeah, there
I
was
like
no
that one.
actual practical TV till like the mid '50s, really.
Well, yeah, they were invented in the 40s, but nobody could afford them until the 50s, and it took a year like to save up for it.
well,
Yeah, I
in
But
think
any
in
case,
I
he
think they
says
even had. Oh, sorry, Jill. Go ahead.
he says this movie In this movie, there was a home invasion.
Well, the thing was, didn't they invent television like back in the late 30s?
Well,
But
wait a
because of
minute.
the
Wait, can you
war,
go back
it
to
got
that?
derailed, right?
Can you go back to that? Further back in time, you go the heart of the censored word. For example, I was watching a show or a movie. It was made. There was a home. I think you're talking about the Deadly Hours, if I had the name correct, and it was remade in color with Mickey Rourke. That was a fantastic movie, but I don't think it was the 30s, Daniel. It may have been a little later. But I know what you're talking about. That's one where the gang is like a gang of bank robbers or whatever break into a house and terrorize a family.
Didn't TV movies come in big time in the 70s, if I remember?
They were making it back. Let's see. They made some back in the 60s, but they didn't really go very far. But yeah, they really hit big in the 70s.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Jill. Thank you.
You're welcome. Captain Infinity says sensors are harder now than 35 years ago.
Oh, they are.
Oh yeah, they're trying to basically erase the history of our culture, and a lot of times. I read somewhere that they're actually trying to censor some stuff in. Oh, what's that? Oh, jeez. Forget it. I'll
French Connection.
remember it. French Connection. Yeah, that's it. I just couldn't think of it, but yeah, I
Yeah,
can't believe they would censor such a
I
great film.
can. I knew as soon as I heard Disney bought
Well,
Fox,
I
I was like,
can, but
oh
it's
no.
just like, why? Why? Oh,
Message.
Daniel says, anyway, there was this mansion, and there was a bunch of burglars. And there was an old man, a young man, and a boy fighting off the burglars, but the woman was in the house working some controls.
Oh no, that's not what I was thinking. Okay, that's interesting. Daniel, let me know if you can come up with the name of that. I'd like to check it out.
Captain Infinity says, my son heard me watching a Tarantino movie and couldn't believe how casually people were throwing around the N word.
Yeah, they used to back in the day.
well, I remember, back in the 70s, like there was nothing off limits. Like, uh, I guess it was like people were adults, they were mature, and they could take it. Like you could say anything, and you know,
Well,
most people wouldn't get insulted. They would
well,
just go, "Oh yeah,
to a
that's something
certain,
to think about," right?
right, but to a certain point. Like I'll give you an
Oh
example, like
yeah,
the show All in the Family and the Jeffersons and shows like that. You would
right.
hear that if you hear that word, you only hear it once per episode.
And you'd
So you
only
don't
hear
hear
it in
people,
context, right?
right? You don't hear people flying like they do in real life, where hey, man, my nigga do this and my nigga do that. They don't do that. They never done that on television.
Well, what makes me laugh is like you listen to some rap music, and there's the N words like every 30 seconds, right? You know,
Well,
it's
I know
crazy.
that's a different topic. Yeah, they seem to like to degrade themselves. Who knows why?
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, we should probably get back to the episode eventually. Anyway, I guess, Bob.
Yeah, are we caught up with the chat?
Well, it's like Ahura says, you see, in our century, we've learned not to fear words.
That's one of the great lines from season 3. Yeah,
I wish she was right. I wish it was like that now.
it was more back
BK
then than
Dan
it is now. Yeah,
BK Dan says, just like Lassie sometimes was a boy dog, sometimes female.
that's
That's
true.
correct. Lassie
Yes,
also starred June Lockhart.
cool.
This episode, in fact, we'll get to the scene that it kind of reminds me of Lassie, where you guys will see that reference coming up.
Daniel's Hot Topic says, back in the 30s, women kicking ass was forbidden on TV and pretty much everywhere else.
Daniel, TV didn't exist in the 30s. Oh my.
Captain Infinity says Biggs committed suicide in Star Wars 1977.
Oh,
People were
that's right.
ruining the bit.
I know what he's talking about with the attack on the Death Star. That's right. That's right. Luke Skywalker's friend that he used to shoot swamp rats with. That's right. Hello, Jim. Good to see you. Glad you could
Hi,
join us.
Jim.
I never claimed to be a Star Wars person. I'm all about Star Trek. Daniel's Hot Topic says nowadays it's pretty lax. Women kicking ass all over TV and movies. It's paradise for me.
Well, the way TV is now is women hitting men. Men can't hit back. That's TV
Well,
now.
yeah, that's the problem. It's all woke stuff where you have the strong female characters,
I
right? That
I think
are
it's starting
perfect.
to fall back and things. I think things are getting better. I'm not sure.
I
Oh,
think
I
it's
hope you're
because
right,
of the
Jill.
box office bombs they're having, Jill, that they're making no money, and maybe after like so many years, they're finally starting to realize they're going to go broke eventually,
Right,
Yeah,
right?
I
right.
really hope so.
The problem is that productions are like it's so many years in the planning. It takes a long time for them to do a U-turn, pretty much.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like politics; it takes forever for
BK Dan
things to
says thank
change.
you to Mikey. And Captain Finity says nowadays it's very strict. Jim's Landscape says, here's my Chevy truck video.
Hmm.
Or a Chevy truck video. I don't know. Mikey Sees
Hello
4 says,
there.
no worries.
Be right back, guys.
Okay, let's keep reading the chat. Captain Finity says everything from 20 years ago gets a content warning, as noted by Clobby. Daniel's Hot Topic says Salty Trekker complains sometimes how in some shows the men get beaten up and the women get away without a scratch. And that's just what pop culture was talking about. And check out Captain Finity's channel here at this link. Mikey Sue's Force says, I agree to Daniel's Hot Topics. Women are turning out to be better fighters than men when thoroughly provoked. And BK Dan says, yeah, TV was actually invented in the late 30s, but really blew up in the 70s.
Yeah, BK Dan's making the point I was trying to make earlier. Like it was actually invented around the end of the 30s, but because of the war, of course, with Germany, it was kind of put on hold, and it didn't really develop until they got like years later and got the war behind them, and then it actually became a viable thing in the 50s, right? So
BK Dan says, sorry, cats. Sorry for the cats. It's okay, Dan, says Captain Infinity. And BK Dan says, several states have even banned Huck Finn because of the use of one word that was period specific and was accepted in the late 1800s. That's a shame to ban the whole thing instead of just bleeping one word. That's ridiculous.
the thing is, they don't even have to bleep it. They just have to put a disclaimer at the start that there's, usage of a racist word here, and just if that offends you, just don't read it, right?
Well, in that case, then they would have to make the whole broadcast R rating, and I guess that would be fine.
I don't know. I just think it's weird that they're censoring so much now, Jill. It's just
Captain Infinity says, is there a sign outside my house saying dead storage?
There's a bunch of
No,
stars in there, so something got bleeped out.
no, because it ain't there. Daniel's Hot Topic says, or maybe it was the 40s. TV was invented September 1927. I was really hoping someone was going to go into that.
wow.
Yeah, that's true. So
That's even
TV wasn't
earlier than I
around,
remembered. Wow,
but
that's really early.
when regular broadcasts were going on around the nation is really the question.
Oh, it was decades later. Yeah. Takes a long time for a technology to develop to the point where it's practical sometimes, right?
Captain Infinity says, "Is there a sign in my backstage saying host interrupter storage?" And Phantom Boomer says electronic television was first successfully demonstrated in San Francisco on September 7th, 1927. And BK Dan says first broadcast 1927. Stream Element says tips are appreciated. Oh wait, don't use that. Don't tip there. If you want to donate to Pop Culture Curator, tip to
The
um
GoFundMe
the no, but it's not called GoFundMe. It's
or the
called
Give Send Go.
Give Send Go. There you go.
It doesn't roll off the tongue like GoFundMe.
It's true. Captain Infinity says the first country to fully embrace television was 1930s Nazi Germany. Oh right, yeah, that makes sense. I've got to step away for a moment. Hopefully you can read
Okay.
a little bit, Gorilla. I'll be back.
Leave it to the damn Germans to embrace television first. All right, Mikey says when the Jim James
No,
Boswell
you have to lay down,
Phelps
baby. I will play with
had
you later, but you have to lay
woman
down and watch Little Bear
equal
right
to
now. You sat on my lap earlier. Go lay down for now. And I'm sorry.
yeah, I was gonna say, do you want me to meet you? Oh, when the James Bond films had women equal to Bond's abilities. IMHO, they got better starting Lucy.
I apologize for
Yeah,
parenting on air. I thought I muted.
it's more interesting than my voice.
Don't worry about it, Joe. We're all used to your parenting on streams.
Well, no, but usually I make a point to mute it, but I do gotta go take care of her. She wants some
Well, you're being a
Okay,
lot politer than I would be to my kid that wouldn't go to bed.
that's
Yeah,
okay, Jill. Go for it. We're getting way behind on the episode anyway, so it don't matter.
go ahead. All right. Skogly says, this is Skogly's channel for music and stuff. Oil Greg says, cheers! Captain Finney says, I don't have a TV. These two facts are related. And Brazil says, beer, beer, glorious beer. And Oil Greg says, hail Basil. Basil is stabbing someone apparently. GoFundMe is the outfit that screwed up. Yeah, I know, Phantom. That's why they're using GiftSend Go. BKJ says first real broadcast internationally was 1936 Olympics. The leader was very prominent in it. Yeah, yeah. Didn't we send some guy over there that embarrassed the Uncle Adolf there? And other Greg says more ghost hunting this summer. Basil. Oh, so earlier you're going snipe hunting, huh? Basil says I highly recommend the movie Creed 3. BK says I no longer parent on stream. He's 22 and don't live with me. Perhaps, Euler Greg, perhaps. Euler says, I will check it out, Basil. You should do a movie review of Creed 3. Phantom says Jesse Owens, and Mikey says Fema K. Jansen as Xena on the top. Best Bond. Come on, Mikey, say stuff I can actually pronounce. Come on now, man. And Jesse Owens, if I remember, a black runner, he won the gold. They purposely sent him to embarrass Uncle Adolf.
Yeah, it was Jesse Owens actually, Gorilla. I just looked it up. I remember I'd forgotten his name, but I totally remember it now after I looked it up. Jesse Owens, yeah, he just beat all the Nazi guys running and got the gold. That was pretty cool. The thing with the Nazis using TV though, I think Adolf realized what a propaganda tool it could be, right? How it just
Oh,
capture people's minds, and he, that's probably why he was using it back then.
yeah. All right, sounds like we got Pop back.
I am
Hello,
back. Thank you.
good stuff.
They had to take my vitals again.
Yeah. And Mikey says, LOL, like Gorilla. Sorry, brothers. All right, roll
Okay,
on chat.
so here's where we have where Maureen and Judy are setting up the perimeter of the force field, which also reminds me of Forbidden Planet. And Judy
And
gets
they
the
had
question by throwing a
they
rock.
had the force field earlier in some episodes too, right? So
Yes, they did. And this is where she says, "Stand back. I'm going to turn it on." And then they'll show Judy tosses the rock. And I do like the effect where it looks like the rock just hits a hidden wall and explodes. I thought that was pretty cool.
that was very well done. Yeah, very well done.
And you could see if you watch that closely, you could see June Lockhart jump like it surprised her. I'm sure on the set it was probably relatively loud.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Hmm.
Jill had to go and do some parenting.
Yeah. Yeah. Jill's always got demands on her time with the family there.
Yeah, so we got some more chats here we can catch up on.
Sounds like a
Here,
plan.
here's Nemesis of Eden's channel. He does a lot of gaming. Basil says, I know I wanted to do one for Gordon Lightfoot too, but I've been a bit occupied with another issue.
Nice, Gordon Lightfoot. Awesome. That would be
Yeah,
cool.
BK10. It was actually the movie Contact that I learned 1936 Olympics were first international broadcast. Cool. Here is Jill's channel for TOS reviews, gamings, and filming tea time. I still haven't figured out what's the difference between tea time and short leave.
Yeah, Star Trek reviews, all kinds of cool stuff.
And Goiler Greg says,
Well,
work hard in Brazil, work hard
the
fast.
difference, Gorilla, is that during tea time I prepare a review of something. Maybe it's a more casual review than the Tuesday show. And shore leave is even more casual than tea time because I prepare almost nothing. Maybe some links here and there, but it's more of a open panel kind of fun stream.
Okay.
Well, you would never know it, Jill. You always sound like you're 100% prepared.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, the
Hold
I
on.
Friday streams are great. I wish I could still attend them,
So,
but unfortunately, I probably can't for the moment.
All right.
and
We're
it
ready.
was funny, PvP, is I unfortunately can because of my circumstances. No offense, Jill.
Well,
But I'm
yeah,
not
gosh.
working, and unless they have me in a surgery or something, I could probably be there.
Yeah, the context does kind of make it different for us, doesn't it, Pop?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm it's really it's gnawing at me. I'm worried about my dogs. One of my roommates is supposed to be checking on them, and I haven't got a response. I've been texting him for 2 days, and I still don't know how long they're going to keep me here. So it's anxiety, I guess. I should
Yeah.
tell them give me something. I need some Xanax or something. I don't know.
Well, it's only the 12th today, so it's not close to the end of the month yet, so don't panic.
Exactly, exactly.
Your
Things
roommates
to
are
be.
your roommates should update you though, like 2 days. That's a while. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. Well, believe it or not, I actually have a camera. I'm looking right here at it. I have a live camera that I have positioned where the dogs are in my room,
Oh,
and
good.
yeah, well, yeah, but the dish hasn't been filled in a day or two, and
Oh,
the dogs
jeez.
are hiding under the bed. And last night they were whining, and they don't usually do that. I'm hoping they're not
Yeah.
in any kind of pain.
And they're probably just missing you again. Hopefully, it's nothing more serious than that. But
That's what I'm hoping, right? It's the female
yeah.
Ginger. She's really old, and I'm worried about her.
Oh, jeez.
Sometimes she'll get where she can't move, and she'll whine, and then I need to pick her up and help her
No,
move a little bit. And I just hope
right.
that she's not stuck under that bed where she can't eat and drink and potty.
Oh, God. Well, maybe just ask the staff at the hospital when you think they might be, releasing you again,
No idea.
sometime.
I got partial results from my biopsy today,
Uh-huh.
and waiting for complete results before a team of doctors decides how they're going to attack the multiple abscesses I have in my body. So I don't even have a close clue of getting a timeline. I wish I did. I
Right.
pay the money. I give them anything if they give me a timeline.
Well, hopefully you'll find out, not too many more days, and then there'll be a plan for what they're going to do, right? So,
Yeah, I hope so
I
soon.
mean, they've got to figure something out eventually, right? I mean, geez, this has been going on for a while
They
now,
are
and
leaving you hanging quite a bit.
yeah, this is taking like weeks and weeks, right? Like, geez.
But the ladies have a force field and they're setting it up.
Do we have a pic of the Judy throwing the rock there, Jill?
Yes,
Excellent.
she's testing it.
There we go. That's very cool.
It's kind of like an animation.
That's neat.
It's like they're launching mortars.
We'll be safe enough for now, no matter what's out there.
That just tells me something's gonna get past the force field.
Exactly.
As soon as they say that, yep, that's getting past. I
Well, something was already
don't know
got
if that's a trope.
into the ship just because they left the door open.
Oh, that's great. Dr. Smith with the candle.
And all of the guns in his
And
All the
all
holster.
of,
guns.
yeah. Like, doesn't he just need one? He doesn't need them all.
I would assume formal command. Yeah, like they would put the trust in him.
What right does he have to assume any kind of command anyway? He's like a stowaway.
Pretty much, yes. Oh, by the way,
Well,
go back to the last shot. The only time in the entire series you'll see June Lockhart let down her hair.
Yeah, it was quite lovely, I thought. Quite a different look for her, really.
And they also established in this episode that Penny and Judy share quarters.
That's true.
Oh, that's strange. Before I've seen Penny reading alone with Shakespeare.
Right, but that's what I was thinking too. But maybe just Judy happened to not be in the room at the time.
Hmm.
he tells her to
Unless,
get the hell out.
I mean, they didn't show it on camera, but unless one of them went to the other one's bedroom to talk to them. But in this episode, when they opened the door, both of them were standing there in one room.
Hmm. It's hard to tell, right? It could be either one or the other, I guess.
Yep.
I do love these big holsters with their packing these laser guns, though. That's pretty cool.
It's funny how they have those big, they look like they're made out of leather, probably, or plastic. And Star Trek, it just had little strips of Velcro.
Well, yeah, Lost in Space, as we've mentioned before, is a little more, sci-fi fantasy than true
Well, yeah, and
sci-fi.
it's got the retro, more of the retro Forbidden Planet 50s vibe to it, I guess.
Oh yeah, the laser pistols definitely look 50s for sure. Nice to see our ladies getting into it though, and that's probably one of my favorite things of this episode. It actually featured the female cast much more than the male cast members, which was refreshing for a change, right?
Yes, it was fun to see them find the fur and decide that it's time to do some science.
Yeah, they were
Because
doing. Yeah, go
it
ahead,
was
Jill.
established in the pilot that they're scientists too, and they're every bit as capable of surviving and subsisting away from Earth
Yeah,
as the other crew members.
Right,
And
just
we
the way
get to
they
yeah,
see the proof
established in the
here.
first right in the first episode, they established they were all trained for this mission, not just the men.
yeah, exactly. I thought it was cool because finally the women are like showing their skills and showing they can like defend themselves with the laser pistols if they need to, and I just thought it was a really refreshing change from the episodes that had been before, right?
Defend themselves against a puppy.
A puppy.
So
Now,
what
do
do you
you
guys
think
think?
this
It's a beagle, right?
he looks like a beagle, I guess. I need a better look.
I was thinking a beagle or a corgi. I think it's a beagle. I don't know if corgi was a
Mm,
thing back then.
I don't
Cargi.
know if he's a purebred beagle though. I used to have a beagle, and he doesn't quite look like 100% beagle.
I don't
Maybe
know if
there's a
Bert's
mix.
still there. Does that look like Sassy?
Beagles are pretty cool though, but boy, they're weird. They put their nose to the ground and they wander away, right? They're scent hounds basically, right? They like to sniff and they just follow their nose wherever they go, which makes sense because he's missing.
Oh,
And so they figure out that this is the creature who was in the space capsule.
Does that actually make sense though? Like they're thinking, oh, this was like in the early, when Earth was putting up early space capsules to test things.
It does later on in the episode. They finally explain that in the Lost in Space universe, they were experimenting with suspension and suspended animation technology.
Okay, I
In
must
which,
have I forgot that bit. Oh well. Anyway, continue.
so yes, that was going to be my biggest nitpick of the episode, and then they threw that in there, saving it.
Oh, good for them. Good old William Welch.
sorry, guys. I'm responding to. I've, anyway, that doesn't matter. I don't need more bad news right now. Let me mute my phone. Okay, so now we get this monster. This is harkens back to the old B, sub B horror movies where the monster would show up and just lurk behind bushes and then do nothing, and then lurk behind bushes and do nothing, and lurk behind bushes and do nothing.
So I'm getting the impression that these aliens were just as scared of us as they were scared of them.
Well, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but if you guys notice that we see a crashed ship, then we see a dog, and then we just see this monster from this crater. And by the appearance, it looks like the monster is from this planet. I don't think that monster was in that ship, and it's too big.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
my thoughts too. He's like a crater monster, right? That comes from the planet.
Right. So the question is, was his dog in the ship, or they just never explained who was in the ship, or how the
It
dog got
had
there?
to
Yeah,
be. Had
they
to be.
do.
Where
Well,
else
they
would
do.
the dog have come from, right?
Right. They do suggest. They say, well, there were old experiments where they sent dogs into space. So I guess that's what we're assuming that that's what it was. But from
Yes,
where? No, who
from
knows?
Earth,
Yeah, I think
the
they.
dog and the dog was in suspended animation.
Yeah, I think they did actually send. They did send live animals in the early, test flights, right? You know.
I love this scene, and thank you. I wanted to point out this scene right here. Thank you. Here's where Penny says, "Oh, can I keep him?" This is where the mom should say, "Well, that depends. Where's Debbie?"
Yeah, my thought exactly. Like, well, I
Right.
guess Debbie's yesterday's news, right? She must have run off with another monkey somewhere, and had a nice life because it doesn't seem like little Penny's too worried about her well being anymore.
Well,
That's
and to not
exactly
go ahead, Jill.
that's exactly what I thought too. Penny's swooning over the puppy, but what you can see is on the other side of the garden, Debbie is sulking.
Well,
Oh, and
Penny
probably
Penny's
walking away.
Penny's totally in puppy love here.
Well, and to be fair, I have to say, to be fair, the mom should say, well, of course, they're not going to keep referring to past episodes because remember now, this was back when the shows were shown out of order, and they don't want to confuse people. But to be fair, the mom would have said, well, remember, Penny, now, you got to keep the bloop. So maybe it's Will's turn, or maybe Judy.
Actually, does the bloop ever appear in another episode again?
I
I,
don't
I
think
can't
so. I
remember
think we're
now.
done with. I think the last episode was the bloop got giant.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, the bloop didn't really last long as a concept in this show. It seems
That's
to me.
why. That is exactly why it was such a waste that they spent a quarter of the special effects budget on the 1998 movie on that horrible CGI monkey. It's
Oh,
like
you.
the writers of
Oh,
that movie only. Akiva Goldsman, who was the writer of that movie, only saw the first couple episodes and said, "I got it. I got it. I know how to do it. I can do this."
yeah. That's not too good when people don't have an understanding of what the show is really about, and then they think, oh, they know it all, right? It's like,
Well, it's Akiva Goldsman. He's now on Star Trek.
well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yep.
Or should we catch up on chat real quick?
Go
Yes,
for
thank
it,
you,
Gorilla.
Gorilla. Voice of reason. Thank you, Gorilla.
Yeah. BK Dan says, Jill equals Wonder Mommy, a streamer full time, and a mommy full time. BK Dan says, yeah, don't panic. Written on the cover of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yes.
Euler Greg says, I really need a force field for my yard.
Yes. Wouldn't it be nice?
Well, Euler Greg, for a mere $50,000, we can establish that force field for you. Just gotta sign away all your rights to the property and send us $50,000.
There you go. And your force field will arrive in the mail 3 to 6 months later.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
gives you just enough time to get out of the country.
Well, we're having a breakdown down of our supply chain, so it might take 1 to 1.5 years to arrive. All right, can someone else read for a bit?
Basil Battle Dragon says, I subscribe to Jill's channel, but I haven't been seeing any notifications about the streams. I'll have to check the channel periodically to see when the streams are scheduled. Yeah, some of us have been having trouble with our notifications lately, Basil, so I understand that. I've been having I don't know if it helps, but the channels that I notice I don't get the alerts for, I go and I unselect it and then select it again to see if it makes any difference. But I don't know, like I said, if that's helping or not. Basil says, I'm wondering if it could be YouTube algorithm reading my viewing habits. I'll find out. That's just
Well,
it.
thank you for trying.
Yeah, is it being manipulated? That's the whole question. Mikey says, June Lockhart as Maureen Robinson, today's 96 years young and still looking great. See, I told you so. Her and Barbara Eden, they both look fantastic. It's unbelievable. And no plastic surgery.
Yeah.
That's really great that she's 96. Wow, that's awesome.
Visit,
Subscribe to.
and
Oh
she's a
yeah.
hard rocker too. She's a hard rocker. She was a big Dead fan. Please visit Jedi Bill's channel, everybody. A great guy, and that's the channel that we'll be having the street, our horror sci-fi stream slash fundraiser on tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about it. The time that I'm available is when you do your horror stream. That's funny.
Paul invented Velcro, by the way.
Mikey says, "Are you okay? Are you okay, Gorilla?"
My voice is just giving out there. I've been sick the last 2 weeks.
Oh,
no.
that's
I'm
not
sorry
good.
sorry to hear that.
Gee, that's wow. Hopefully nothing
Maybe
too serious.
yeah, maybe you shouldn't be drinking tomorrow if you're sick.
Oh, I'm over it now. I just go through the laryngitis voice. I need the alcohol to kill the bacteria now.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Medicinal purposes, of course.
That's always my theory.
You ever
So, yeah.
notice that people who drink a lot never get sick?
Did you have like a bad cold or something, man? Like sore throat and stuff? Or?
I don't know. My luck is it was COVID. I didn't notice, so I didn't get
Oh,
a
jeez.
week paid off.
Well, let's hope
free.
not. I
A
hope it
week
wasn't
paid
COVID.
off.
Yeah, here at the hospital, they asked me, "Now, did you get the COVID shot?" And I said, "No." "Have you ever had COVID?" I said, "No, I just told you I didn't get the shot." So BK Dance is not going to spoil. I remember this one. Puppy love, LOL, says BK Dan. Yes,
Yeah.
that dog is very cute.
It's literally puppy love with the dog and Penny.
Mikey says, "Did Debbie eventually eat the beagle puppy?" Well, only the beagle disappears, and we don't know why. Yeah, but I don't know if Debbie comes back or not, Mikey.
That's funny.
I am biting my tongue. I am biting my tongue. I am biting my tongue.
Daniel says, "Oh, puppy." I know I love dogs. And this is making me miss mine all the more. I have this little camera. While we're doing the stream, I have my phone here, watching my pooch cam. I'm hoping they come out from under the bed so I can see them. And by the way, you guys, word of advice out there: if any of you guys have dogs or cats, and you buy these cameras that has a two-way speaker or microphone where you can supposedly communicate with your animal, it doesn't work because your voice does not sound the same. And the dogs aren't stupid; they know it's not you. You're not in the same room, so I can talk on this microphone. And I can scream my head off and everything and call them out. But the dogs know I'm not there. They don't come out.
The mic doesn't. The speaker doesn't sound the same as you being there. Of course, yeah.
No, and it sounds tinny. You know what I mean, right? Tinny.
Right.
Like,
I know exactly what you mean with some speakers. Yeah.
yeah.
This is a great scene.
All right.
Go ahead, Gorilla.
We had a couple more here. BK Dan says we could sort of do a force field electric fence for dogs. Then Mike says, I voted to give this episode a straight A. On the other side, I'm not sure Gorilla's grade week, LOL. I hope Gorilla laughs.
And so Dr. Smith, of course, is still paranoid of the dog, even though obviously we all know the dog's obviously normal. It's even wagging its tail.
Well, he's
But for
barking
some
pretty
reason,
good, though.
well, the dog just doesn't trust Dr. Smith for some reason.
I think the dog is a good judge of character, actually, in this scene.
Yes, definitely.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing there. I'll trust it. I'll trust if a dog doesn't like a person. I'll trust that dog's instinct.
Same here. I agree.
Mm.
The truth of
Kind of
the
like a
matter is,
tribble.
and this is where Dr. Smith, thinking that the dog is an alien, is trying to communicate with it. And of course, the dog doesn't know what's going on. So maybe Dr. Smith, maybe all that screaming that he was doing like Chicken Little, maybe he is actually himself in his mind concerned. Maybe it wasn't just an act in front of the ladies. He's just a coward at this point. We've already gotten to the point where they've reduced him to right down to a straight up coward. So he's already the opposite of the character we got in the first episode.
He's a totally different character by this point than he was in the first 5 or 6 episodes, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, this This is kind of funny though. He's speaking to the dog as if he's an alien who understands English.
Yes.
Yeah, really, eh? That's a great point, Jill. Yeah. Well, Dr. Smith kind of comes across as a little muddled in this one, doesn't he? Like he's not really thinking too clearly, it seems to me.
And he's asking the dog to set him up with a meeting with the dog's leader.
What leader? Yeah, Penny's totally forgotten about Bloop at this point. That's pretty obvious.
Maybe Bloop is hanging up inside her quarters.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe that was Bloop that is grown up that came out of the crater.
That's a good one.
Oh, right. They did say the creatures on this planet are mutants.
That would kind of
So,
make a lot
yeah.
of sense, actually, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Right, and then it would go after Penny, you would think, right, for abandoning it.
Well, it does at a certain point, does it not?
No,
It
it goes
goes
after
after
Judy.
Judy too, though.
Penny's too young. They're not going to show her that kind of danger.
No, but Penny does go looking for the dog, and I think there is
Yeah.
the creature hanging around for a while there. So
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. It hides, it looks, it peeks, and then it hides.
yeah, it actually goes
I guess
after Judy later.
yeah, it's waiting for Judy to come out. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It
Well,
likes
this is
blonde.
cool.
This is cool. John uses some complicated language to say that creatures on this planet consume things and grow.
And this
And
is
we
straight
go
up from
back
the.
to
It says here's where it says that consume things, grow, and this is almost word for word direct reference from the thing, where it says absorb the bodies.
Oh, I thought he was just using a fancy way of saying that the creatures on the planet want to eat them.
Well, see, it says it goes through a metamorphosis, which means a change, taking on new forms by absorbing all types of organic matter. That's the thing right there.
that actually could be a reference to Invasion of the Body
Yeah, but
Snatchers
that's
when you
just
think
another
about
way.
it.
That's just another way of saying eating things, growing, and
What
anyway,
I like
I'll be right
about
back.
okay, what I like about this scene though is is it's been a while since we had anything from Doctor Professor Robinson's book, right? His log. So we're finally getting a little more of that, even though it's the Marine reading it, but that's still pretty cool.
Yes, and this, if I'm not mistaken, it may be the last time we get any reference to his logs. I don't because we see less and less of that as the series
Yeah,
progresses.
quite possibly. Yeah.
How are we doing on the chats, Gorilla? Are you still
Well,
there?
we could catch up on them if someone
If
wants
you
to.
can highlight it, I can start. But that way I'll know where we're. Okay, I see where we're at. I'll do it.
I
All
can
right.
I can click them though.
I could
Okay.
do it if you want, guys. My voice is pretty good
Well,
tonight.
okay. I just need to know where Gorilla had left off.
Right here.
All right, go ahead, PvP.
Thank you, Gorilla. Feel better for tomorrow, brother. And there's a little heart sign. Dan says, missed the beginning of stream. Did you guys discuss original Lost in Space versus reboot Lost in Space on Netflix? Well, not really, I guess. No.
We did in some of the earlier streams, in some of the earlier episodes, we did kind of compare, but we haven't gone into detail, really depth detail. I didn't want to offend
Uh,
too many people. I know there are fans out there of the new series who have not seen the original, but I can tell you this: I've never talked or met or spoken to anybody who liked the original who also liked the new series either. It's just like the movie, the '98 movie. Anyone I've known who have seen the and liked the new series have not seen the original, and that's why they like the new series.
Oh, maybe I'm gonna have to check it out.
Jim's Landscape says, my loving Mr. Peanut of 17 and a half years old had to put him down last week. He was cremated and brought home today. Oh, my condolences, Jim.
Sorry to
Yes,
hear that, Jim.
Jim,
That,
my heart goes out for you, Jim. I did the same thing. I had to put a poodle of my Ruby down. I had her probably just as long. She had an enlarged heart.
oh,
I
gosh.
couldn't part with her as well. I had her cremated and got a little urn, brought it home, and I still I have her. So,
Yeah.
Jim, yeah, I feel for you.
Yeah. Condolences, man. That is always tough losing a loved one for sure. We got any more chat?
I'm sorry to hear that, Jim.
And BK Dan says, sorry for your loss, Jim's Landscape. Number one, Commodore Productions.
Right.
There's no comparison. Original Lost in Space better than Netflix Lost in Space. Euler Greg says, condolences, Jim. That's a great run for a dog. Actually, that is a pretty good long life for a doggy. And BK says, don't know if they discussed at Mikey Sue's 4. By the way, I definitely agree. And Jim says, thanks, BK Dan and Euler Greg. And Mikey says, same condolences here at Jim's Landscape, Commodore Productions. BK says, NP, Jim's Landscape, number one, Commodore Productions. And we've got Stream Elements again with Jim's Landscape channel. Check it out. And Jim says, thanks, Mikey Sue's 4. All right, Greg says, I would love to see the original actors with the modern sets and CGI. Interesting thought.
Yeah, for many years, Greg, we learned for a return to Lost in Space where they would get rescued or make it to Alpha Centauri, but everyone else was dead set against it. The cast was
Anyway,
all for it.
Mikey
Sorry, go
says, YW, Jim?
You're welcome, Jim.
You're welcome. Oh, I'm missing something there. Lemon Pie says, sorry to hear, Jim. Jim's Landscape says, thanks, everyone. You're welcome. And BK Dan says, yeah, puppies and kittens are just fuzzier people.
They are. They're like my kids. They are like my kids.
Well, they are kind of family, right? They keep you company and they love you, so,
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, I guess
feel like
that's it.
I feel like I'm letting them down.
No, don't
I feel
man,
guilty.
look, you've got to take care of your health first. Like, I know it's tough, but you've got to just do it, right?
Yeah, here's what doesn't make sense. I just sat on my ass for this weekend. Sorry for using that word. I sat on my butt this weekend doing very little because they don't do much during the weekends at the hospital. Anytime they can let me go home and just check on the dogs and come back. That's what upsets me. They will not
Right.
let you leave. Even if it's for 1 minute, they won't let you leave.
Yeah, bloody bureaucracy, I guess, eh?
Well, obviously, I mean, the most common answer is because somebody abused the system at some point. Obviously.
Yeah, well, I guess with all the all the insurance crap and all that, they're probably
That's probably
paranoid
yeah.
that
That's
you
probably
know.
what it is. In fact, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll go out and slip and fall in the hall tonight. I could use the
No,
money.
don't do that. We want you still around for the stream tomorrow. Jeez, man.
Right. Hey, if I break a hip, I'm in the right place.
Oh God, I don't you. I think you've got enough things to deal with already, Pop. To be honest.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That is
Yeah.
so true.
Anyway, we're back to the episode. I guess. Yeah. If anybody wants to
Right.
continue on here.
They have their force field, but it's run out of juice, so they have to get a battery. They don't have
A charger,
They don't have any battery. They don't have any charger backups.
right? They go get a
Um,
charger. This is a charger, which in last episode was the thing they were using to test the fuel, and it looks like the same device. So I'm guessing that force field has a portable battery built into it, and they just have to recharge it.
wouldn't you put a priority on recharging the battery constantly on your force field protection, though? Like
Or
That's
have
what
the
I'm thinking. They should have a backup.
that's another
backup.
for me. That's another flaw in the episode that takes it down a little bit. Though I gotta say, Penny playing with the puppy kind of takes it back up a notch, so it all kind of evens out, I suppose. Oh, this is good. Now, okay, now does the dog think this is a stick, or is he like maybe a sentient, you know, creature trying to sabotage them? Because at first I thought, hey, maybe the dog's evil after all, right? Like, because you never know, right? And everybody, Jill is
I'm here,
yeah, it's just you and me, Pop.
and here's where you have a pooch
Everybody's
stealing the
muted.
gun.
Yeah, I'm thinking now when I was watching this point, I thought, okay, is the dog actually sentient? Is he thinking, I'm going to mess the Robinsons around and steal their, their protection? And man, maybe the dog is evil after all. Like that would have been a heck of a plot twist, right? So,
But no, it looks like the dog just thinks it's a dog toy.
yeah, I guess. Oh,
Notice
jeez.
how another thing too is that you'll notice if you look at the color, it's completely different than the ones they have in their holsters and the ones they use in their hands. So that was a
Oh,
prop design just for that one scene.
hmm. And of course, Smith is still talking to the dog.
Did Smith actually talk to it? He didn't try shooting it?
But yeah,
Smith
he's
seems,
trying to surrender to the dog.
yeah, Smith
Yeah.
seems very confused in this episode, to be honest.
He's held hostage by a puppy with the gun in his mouth.
Now, see, this is the part where I said Penny goes off looking for her doggy, and there is kind of a sense of danger there, right? Oh, I love that line. Penny just puts him right down. Stop being so silly. This is great. I love that line.
Straight up calls him up on it, right?
Yeah, Penny's much more mature than Smith, obviously. Now, that's my question. Why did the dog bury the gun? Like, is that just an instinct? The dog's
Well,
burying
like
the gun?
dogs bury bones, I'm guessing is what they're thinking.
Okay.
That's the only I can figure.
Once again, I'm thinking,
Yeah,
geez, the
that's what I was
dog.
thinking too. It's just a bone
Okay.
gem.
Once again, I'm being suspicious, thinking the dog's like an evil entity or something. But I'm trying to read more into the episode than there is, I suppose.
I did that too at first until we saw the sand creature. Until we saw this guy, I thought, how did that dog open all those cans? But then we saw him, and I was like,
Yeah, I
okay,
think
that
he
makes
was the
more
can
sense.
monster. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He was definitely the can monster.
Speaking
And
of
but
the,
go ahead.
go ahead, Bob. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that I actually recognize that actor's face. He did a lot of work with Disney as a bad guy, usually a
Oh,
henchman.
really?
He did some of those '70s Kurt Russell movies where he was the college guy, like the strongest
Oh,
man in the world, and the computer wore tennis shoes. He was in that. You can tell by the nose.
okay.
It's that squashed nose is what I recognize.
Yeah, he does kind of have a bulbous nose there, doesn't he? Kind of. I gotta say though, I thought most of the aliens we've seen so far have been pretty cool and creative, but for me, this one really doesn't do it. Like this is like basically a guy in a furry
Hold
suit.
on, hold on. You're giving a final review. Save it to the end if you can.
Okay, but I was not overly in love with this creature. Anyway, yeah, you're right. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Let's see now.
Interesting
Basil.
though. Why didn't we see this kind of creature before? Like he's probably been on the planet for millions of years, and we suddenly see him right in this one. I'm overthinking it probably though.
Hold on. I thought I had this.
Need to take a
Okay,
Basil
look.
says,
so
I know. There you are, Jill. Go ahead.
he's called the Horned Mutant in the episode listing on IMDb, and
Ah,
he's played by Charles Deercrop.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't get the big tall guy that they used in the previous episodes.
Hmm.
But maybe it was the size of the suit, or they had to be able to fit in the crater. Who knows, right? Oh, we already covered this one about Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah, saw that before.
Where did I leave? I guess I'm. How did I get back that far?
It
All
is a
right,
little ways back,
let me
I
know
think.
if I'm repeating. BK Dan
Oh,
says
here.
Jill's
Yeah,
Wonder Mommy, a streamer full time and a mommy full time. That's
Here, I know where
we
we're
absolutely
at.
correct.
we saw
We're
that one.
we're down at Fuzzier here. I got it. Mikey says agreed 100%. BK Dan.
Pretty funny. I was away from the screen during that
Yeah.
comment.
Here is Phantom Boomer's channel. Mikey says, "Where's the frisbee for the beagle?" I hate sand. It gets everywhere. Mikey says, and of course, PK Dan, LOL. Dan says, LOL. True that. Euler says, I like sand. It means I'm on vacation at the beach. BK says it's actually pre-glass. Yes, Dan, it was tempered breakaway sand glass. LOL. LOL. Sandcastles, toe wiggles in the sand. If you can't handle sand, stay off the beach. Here's Euler Greg's channel. Here's my
Gorilla,
channel.
Gorilla, you wanna rest your voice?
We're all caught up.
You wanna rest your voice,
Excellent.
Gorilla?
We're good.
Okay. So here's where Maureen goes to get weapons because she hears the noise outside, growling. So when she goes down to the lower deck, she finds out that Dr. Smith decided he's going to clean, quote, clean
Clean.
all their laser pistols. So he takes everything apart, and it's basically
He
a pile
couldn't
of junk.
just, yeah, and he couldn't clean one gun at a time, right? He had to
What?
take all of them apart.
What a dumb. I bite my tongue because this is lots of space. Gotta keep it peachy.
The
Oh,
writer,
yeah.
now remember, blame this on the writer. What they had to do, they had to figure out a way to for them not to have weapons. So the writer was probably sitting there thinking, well, wait a minute, they have laser pistols on the show. How are we going to depict them not having? What excuse can we use that they don't have weapons? And this is probably the only thing they could come up with, I'm guessing.
Well, I guess the story had to happen, but yeah, this was I feel for Gorilla. I had the same reaction. I like had to bite my tongue because Smith was such a major jerk here, like doing this, right?
I
I
want.
couldn't stand it. It's like,
Well, you
oh,
can
come
tell, and
on.
well, not that though, but think about this, guys. This is the angriest we've ever seen her at him. She's usually defending
Yeah,
him.
that's true. That was great. Actually, I really enjoyed that
Yeah,
part of
she
the
even says,
scene.
I could throttle you.
Yeah, that was great. I agree with that. Yeah, good
Yes,
stuff.
this is a real goofy move by Smith.
Oh,
Something
Smith.
is always easier to take apart than to put back together. But what's kind of strange is that in a previous episode he was able to put back together the robot in just a few hours. So why are these guns so impossible? There are far less parts.
It's because this is episode 13, Jill, and Smith is becoming a mindless buffoon by this point in the show. He does, his character totally changes, right? He was much smarter and more evil in the early ones, and eventually he just becomes kind of like comedy relief, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Also, why don't they have any manuals, technical manuals, so they can put them back together?
You'd think so.
But
Yeah, like a
but
little
I guess that was just
instruction.
answered by pop culture. They have to get rid of the weapons.
Yeah, I got a
Well,
question.
yeah, it's a plot device. Yeah.
I got a question for Pop. What would have happened if someone in the military did this? Like, disassembled a bunch of the guns and put them, just threw them in a pile and could figure out how to get back together?
Well, you take one gun apart and then you put it back together to make sure you know the process, right? You don't take everything apart.
Yeah, but what would have happened?
Oh, I imagine.
Well,
I don't know.
we see what happens here because
Court martial.
what happened was he took one apart and he didn't know how to put it back together, so he takes another one apart to try to backwards engineer it, and so he does that all the way through, all the way up to Maureen's gun.
Smith's insane. That's like that makes no sense at all to do that, really. And then he's deeply wounded. Like, oh Jesus, Smith. I wish Maureen had kind of like belted him or something. That would have been great. But yeah, this was. I really hated Smith in this scene. Actually, he was really annoying doing that. The dog did
Dog
it.
did it.
Oh, jeez. Blame the puppy.
Of course. This is the one to point out is go ahead, Gorilla.
I was gonna say, look who got past the force field.
Right,
Yeah, it had.
because it's charging.
Yeah, it hadn't recharged yet. Obviously, yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is, of course, once again, it peeks around, leaves again, but this should not be possible because the lower deck is underground.
Well, should there be like a piece of glass or something there for when the ship?
Well, there is. There is glass because they've opened that up while they were in space. Did he stick his head through that frame there?
I thought so.
Seems like it.
Well, then I guess, because obviously, okay, Which leads us to another topic, and you'll find the same thing if you watch the Brady Bunch. They don't put glass in their windows because they'll have reflection from the camera lights. So whenever you see any kind of windows, there's usually no glass there, and that's why if you ever watch the Brady Bunch, when they show the windows, the house, the exterior scenes, the backyard, any of that, I didn't notice till I got older, but you immediately notice, especially with high definition, is there's no glass in any of the windows, and that's because, like I said, there's lights reflecting from all over the studio. So it's a mistake if the character accidentally sticks their head through the window because they forget. That's how I spotted on the Brady Bunch. There was an episode where one of the kids, I don't know which one, opened up the sliding glass window and they reached through it and grabbed the handle from the other side and opened it up. And I was like, well, what? And I realized, oh, that whole none of that house has windows in it.
I think you're right, Pop. I think this is a goof.
Yeah, and I guess they didn't have time or budget to reshoot this episode, or maybe they just didn't notice it. Because it definitely is a goof as far as I'm concerned. Because it's just like there's no window between the Jupiter 2 and outer space, right? You think there'd be something. Oh, here we go. See, I knew Penny was kind of in jeopardy here at a certain point. Even though the creature's just more lurking than being really menacing, I suppose. I really liked how though the Dawn and Professor Robinson were actually kind of minor characters in this episode, right?
All
Yeah,
of them,
well,
yeah.
until this point in which
Yeah.
John realizes that something's wrong in his
Mm.
wife's voice. He has an instinct for telling when she's not right. So
That was great. Yeah, I
they
really
had to go
thought that
back.
was cool. That was very cool, Jill. That was like totally believable that, her husband, that loves her so much would just totally understand by the inflection in her voice that there was something bad happening and, go back and save the day, right?
Exactly.
And of course, Dr. Smith is still talking about the alien spy. And of
Oh,
course,
geez.
Penny's still worried about the dog, so Judy decides to go out and look for the dog.
And this is when Maureen says, Dr. Smith, I could just throttle you.
That
Yeah.
Oh, I was getting ahead of myself. Sorry about that.
Can I
was
get
awesome.
that in a poster? with the subtitles?
Yeah, that would be good, actually.
Yeah, I could send you this picture and you can make it a
Oh, I
poster.
want is I don't know how to make them into posters, but
I don't know either.
Well, if you can remove the text.
No,
No,
he
not the
wants the
text,
text.
Oh, I see. Now remember, they couldn't say strangle, so that's why she said throttle.
yeah. And if we ever do get a picture of what is it, Maureen? Is it Maureen there? If she ever slaps Dr. Smith there, I want that as a poster.
Yeah, I think we all want that one.
Yeah.
Actually, a series of Dr. Smith, hate posters would probably, be quite popular, I'm thinking.
Yeah, and this is the part of the episode where Judy's looking for the dog and the men are looking for Judy, and then
Well, what happens is, I don't know if you guys, I don't mean to repeat if you already said it,
mhm.
but Maureen tells John that they're doing absolutely fine, everything's okay, but he knows that by the sound of her voice that there's something wrong. So he tells Dawn to turn around the chariot and head back to the Jupiter 2. So that's
Yes,
why
we
the
did.
men return without completing the mission. You already, oh, I'm sorry.
No, but
Yeah.
that's okay. It is a very good part. I'm glad you mentioned it.
No, good clarification there, Pop. Totally.
But that's why
totally.
we didn't really see the men. We didn't see them set up any stations, microwave or whatever.
Right, because they were trying to set up some relay stations so they could go
Yeah.
on missions and be able to report back to the Jupiter 2 and be able to explore the planet more.
I think after talking to Marine, though, John realized that, the relay stations could wait, right? The safety of the family was obviously much, much more important. So,
Correct. And so Dr. Smith is worried about the spy, so he's going to take Will along.
And look what Will does.
He's putting back together all the weapons.
Yeah, good old precocious Will. He's got it all together as usual.
And of course, Dr. Smith couldn't be happier because that pretty much saves Dr. Smith's neck. Because obviously, when Professor Robinson found out, I'm sure he wouldn't deal with it very well either.
I'm sure Maureen's going to mention it when they get back, though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is another. Actually, can you go back a slide or two there, Jill, please? This is kind of weird. Did you? I don't know. Was there another episode where we had extreme close-ups on faces like this one? Like there were some shots in this episode I noticed where different characters had close-ups on their face where you could like almost see the pores in their skin, right? It was so close up. It's like wow, and it was almost kind of weird actually.
Well, I like it. It's to emphasize, and it shows that he was, for his age, he was a good actor at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it, but I just thought it was unusual because I don't remember any of the first 12 episodes featuring extreme, facial close-ups like this episode did.
Every time you watch it, just like Star Trek, every time you watch it, you're going to notice something new.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just making a silly point, but I just noticed it right away, and I thought, gee, this seems a bit unusual, to me anyway.
And here's where he's telling Will, he's trying to pretty much convince Will that the dog is some sort of alien or spy, and they need to go out and kill the dog. So, and that's what he's doing now here. So he's talking about, and Will even says, kill the dog, but then Dr. Smith convinces him to. But then as we see, that really doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen.
Wow, that's another line I'm surprised that the censors let go. Kill the dog. I mean, like wow, that's pretty heavy duty.
Well, Old Yeller was popular back then. But that was a movie, and that was Disney. Can you imagine Disney doing that these days?
I wouldn't think killing puppies was like something that the censors would approve of. just my observation.
No, that's why they didn't go there. That's why they didn't go there. And he's telling him, no, the spy. It's not a puppy, it's a spy. Remember, he threatens the safety of our entire little group.
I love this scene when all three of them put their hands together, like, Smith, Will, and the robot. That's hilarious.
The robot's claw. And the monster decides now it's time to come out, finally.
When I saw them all join hands here like they were a team, I just laughed and laughed because I thought, really the robot too. I just thought that was just gold. That was so good.
And now we have the monster, and now it's where it's turned into the monster movie.
Yeah,
where Judy's out looking for the dog, right? And the monster's lurking after Judy. And John and Don are out there trying to find Judy, who's trying to find the dog.
If that's not enough, Will and the robot are going out too.
Yes,
but,
yes.
But Maureen does not go after Will. I was expecting her to because the ladies were getting so much action this episode. I expected it all to happen.
And we're getting our damsel in distress scene.
Damsel in distress.
But at least she's not afraid to wield some rocks.
Yeah, right. That's good.
She misses the first of the curse couple, but she lays a couple in on them, so that's good.
Yeah, that was good. Still, Don does have to come and save the day, right? So.
Yeah, but I liked it because he was taken out first before he saves the day at the end.
Right, and that's another thing too. A man carrying a woman. You think you'll ever see that in Hollywood ever again?
Yes.
Maybe someday. Hopefully we'll get back to like a normal world eventually.
But I do like the fact, right? I do like the fact they did have stunts to where Dawn got hit and fell, and Judy fell too.
Yeah. They had pretty good. They all had some really good falls there, right? Like I was kind of thinking, man, they must have had some bruises or something after that shot.
Yeah.
Big news with the robot. He can smell.
Nice. He's a multi-talented robot.
And during the scene, everybody take notice while you're watching. This whole scene was shot with the robot without his tracks, so he's walking in his bare feet, well, probably with shoes. But you could tell by the way the bottom is moving, and he's kind of hopping down.
I noticed that right away. It's like, oh, this dude.
Yeah, once you notice it, you'll spot it in every episode from then on.
Once again, it was hilariously funny. I just laughed and laughed because, It's like I'm just not convinced that's an actual robot when he's walking along like that. It's just like it was too funny, really. I still love the robot though. He's awesome.
Yes. And here you got to get your final shots at the monster. And I've got um, something I wanted to show related to this scene.
Sweet.
Cool.
Has the monster retreated back to the crater yet?
No, not yet.
Not
Okay,
quite there.
I'm gonna wait for that.
Real soon. But first, we gotta see.
Oh,
We
this was a
gotta get to
good.
the part of the episode where I'm like, "Don't kill the dog."
This was good tension here because Will was actually thinking about it for a second, wasn't he?
Right. But then, of course, the dog looks like that. And it's like, who's going to kill that? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Then the dog's going, "Please
They're
don't
just
shoot
a
me."
puppy.
He's going, "Please, please, Will, don't shoot me." It was a very cute scene, I must say.
There it is. And see, this is where Will would be running back saying,
Yeah.
Mom, can I have him? Can I keep
You're a
him?
nice little guy, even if you are a spy.
Right.
Well, he's going to have to arm wrestle Penny to get that dog as a pet, I would say.
And of course, we get the line again, never fear, Smith is here. I think that's our second time hearing that. Or third.
No,
He said something
like
similar
that.
when
Yeah, yeah.
he said something similar to that when he had the guns earlier. But specifically, never fear, Smith is here. This is his second time with that direct quote verbatim.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That sounds about right.
The second time of many, I might add.
Oh yeah.
As you
Yeah, he surrendered.
You know,
shoot him
one
with
thing
the
that
rat.
one thing that puzzled me though, like the fur monster got shot like what, 5, 6, 7 times during this episode, and he
Uh-huh.
never died, right?
Nope.
Yeah,
You
he's
think
got
he
a
would have
really strong
Hide.
must
hide.
be
Yes,
that
that's the
fur
word I was
must
thinking
be
of.
all that fur protecting him, right? Because I would have thought he would have been dead after like 5 or 6 shots, right? So
Okay, but okay, pause. And now I'm going to cover something. This is something that I spotted years ago. And this also relates to something that I explained on Star Trek. All right. Bear with me here, guys. Okay, Professor Robinson was shooting the laser pistol at the monster as the monster was retreating into the crater. And what happened was, I didn't count how many shots, but the effects company paid for so many shots of the beam, because I explained in Star Trek that they were just flashlights, and when they squeezed the trigger, the light would light up on the tip, which would indicate to the special effects people that they're firing the beam, and to add the effect onto the film itself. Same with here. There were flashlights, and they squeezed the trigger. There was a light bulb on the end, and that would tell the effects guys when to add the laser effect. But what happened was once the monster retreated and was heading back into the crater, I don't know if it was a creative decision or to save money, but Robinson keeps shooting him again and again and again and again and again, even though he's retreating. But they don't have the beam, but you'll see the light on the end of the rifle. And I'm going to show that scene. So if you haven't done so, biggie this. You want full screen so you can spot it.
that's one, two. That's two.
See, like right there, it's lit up.
Yeah, it lit up twice so far.
It actually lit up 3 or 4 times, but I didn't want to get copyright stricken.
Okay.
I was just trying to get the point across.
I
But
think
you
it's
can see,
great.
like right there, you can see where the tip of it is lit up. The little light bulb on the end. They did not add
Oh yeah,
the laser effect.
Yeah.
that was
All
actually
right.
something I was going to bring up that I noticed that totally too. It's like, the gun's firing, but there's no beam, right? And I'm thinking, okay, is that either an error in the episode production, or it's like for budget reasons, right?
Well,
Yeah.
what I was thinking was if it's budget or was a creative decision to say, well, let's not show John keep attacking the monster even though it's retreating. I mean, it's leaving. Let him go. Otherwise
let
that
him
might
go
seem
in
too
peace.
cruel.
It does.
All right.
He's given up. He's fleeing.
All right, guys, just a sec. Welcome Jedi Bill to the channel.
Hail,
Hey,
Jedi
Jedi
Bill.
Bill.
Hail,
Alright.
brother.
Hello.
And everybody, say hello to Jedi Bill. He's the wonderful person that is going to be helping me out. Hopefully, he's going to soon be my roommate. Then we're going to be doing our fundraising stream on his channel tomorrow at 4 p.m. I hope you guys can join us. We've been dropping links in the chat, and I'll be posting it on my page on my community tab. And there's also links in my StreamYards to his channel as well. And Jedi Bill has a fantastic channel with over 3,000 subs, lots of content, a big horror sci-fi fan just like us. Plus, he's got a karaoke channel where he gets a lot of interesting people on there, including some celebrities.
Sure we
Yep, let me hide this. Everybody saw that, right? So I can stop sharing that screen,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
There we go.
Should we catch up on chat real quick?
Yes, thank you, Gorilla.
Alright, Euler says shot for Gorilla's voice. Mikey says agreed, Euler. BK says if you weren't for Maria, Kitty, and Raquel,
Moira.
Moira.
I know Moira
Kitty.
Kitty. Okay.
Couldn't have
Couldn't
made
have
it.
made it to a hospital.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry you have to go to the hospital. Sorry.
Mikey Sue's 4 says, shoot, Dr. Smith, unconscious equals Maureen's thoughts. And BK Dan says, been almost 6 months, willing to tell the world. And Mikey says, hope you're feeling better now to BK Dan. And BK
Yeah, I hope
Dan
you
says,
recover, BK Dan. Good luck.
besides in Star Trek, they don't use glass, it's transparent aluminum.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
And make sure to subscribe to LDG. Oh, wait. Actually, to go to LDG's Underground, actually.
freethenet.org/underground. I hope I got that right.
I think so. BK Dan says better, not good to Mikey Sue's 4. Well, better is good. Mikey says, I wish the beagle had bit Dr. Smith on his leg.
Well, I wish you were bitten him somewhere else.
Oh. I thought about that when Maureen was trying to get the gun back. I was like, hey, you really want that gun? There's one way you can get it. Sean Carter says, hello, everyone.
Hail, Sean. So good to see
Hey,
you.
Hey,
Thank you for
Sean.
coming by.
Of course, not biting, kicking. Sean Carter says, driving to my hotel, so tired. And BK
Drive
Dan,
safe. Take care. Drive safe.
yes, drive safe, Sean Carter. And BK Dan says hello to you. And Mikey says, hello, Sean Carter. And Sean Carter says hello to Mikey.
And bye.
I'm guessing BK.
Ugh.
Yes, BK was correct.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry, I'm in the car.
Understandable, Sean.
It's okay. No texting and driving. Wait till you stop.
Exactly.
Jedi Bill.
Oh,
Jedi
wait. That's a rule?
Culture curator. Yes, that's a rule.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is a rule and a law. And I
Oh
very
yeah,
good.
I don't
That's one
think
of the, I
texting's a
don't
good
agree with a
idea.
lot. Yeah, I don't
It's
agree
like
with a lot of laws, but I agree with the one with texting and driving.
it's like Jim Morrison said, keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes upon the stream, right?
Yeah, there are some studies that show that it makes a driver almost as bad as a drunk driver.
Or on the road, I
can't
guess
tell
Jim
you.
said.
Okay, here in California, I can't tell you how many times I've been stopped at a red light, and I'm looking and I'm waiting for the light to turn, and a car at full speed will just run right through the red light at full speed, and they're looking, their heads tilted down at their phone. They don't even see the intersection. I've seen that
It's
happen
kind
so
of
many
nuts.
times.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts, isn't it? Yeah. I've seen a couple really close calls in intersections with, red, green light stuff. And I've seen like 2 or 3 times when people could have been horribly killed. And I probably would have been injured too, because, being 20, 30 away from the intersection, the debris probably would have, flown all the way through the air. Right. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a Prius that I lost because this idiot kid that was like 16 or 17, it was parked in front of the house, and he just smashed at full speed about 40 miles an hour because he wasn't looking. He was just looking at his stupid
Oh,
phone.
shit.
And I,
Terrible.
no
Not
offense to
good.
anybody
Not
out
good.
there, but I wish he would have gotten more injured than him. But he walked out without a scratch, and I was so upset.
Jeez. Well, that's not always the way. It's the person that seems to cause the
Yeah,
accidents
but
that
what
works the
happened
way.
was it wasn't my fault. It was parked in front of my house. He didn't have a
Well,
license or
yeah.
insurance. He didn't have a license or insurance. So the
Oh,
my insurance company dropped me.
what?
Yep,
Shouldn't he been the one to be punished for
he
being an
had no
idiot?
insurance. Yeah, and he was 16 or 17.
Oh God,
So they were so upset they dropped me.
that's
They
that's
should have.
that
What they should have done is gone after the actual owner of the vehicle, which
that's
obviously
messed.
probably wasn't that kid.
That's
Right.
messed up. That's
It
so messed
is.
up.
Well, that's what happens when politicians take bribes, right?
Well, the lawyers have a lot to do with it too. I think, right? They kind of screw a lot of things up. Well, it's like the whole YouTube copy thing, right? Like that's just nuts. You know.
It is. Okay, so here we
Anyway,
are.
BK Dan says, "Hey" to Jedi Bill,
Hey, Jedi.
and Jedi Bill says hello to me. Hi, Jedi
Wow, I
Bill.
hope that's a really great stream tomorrow for you guys.
And Mikey says hello to Jedi Bill.
Sure it will
And
be.
Mikey says, "My channel link isn't in the Stream Elements pop."
Uh
Well, um,
Mikey, Mikey, if you are you on Twitter or any of those? If you can send me, because
And
I know how to do it, but I don't know if I'm going to remember. That's the
all
thing is
right,
when people tell me during a stream, I don't know if I'll remember. So if there's a way you can remind me, I will add it to it.
oh.
all right.
And that
Just
goes for everybody else, by the way. All any of you guys, if you guys are regulars to my channel and you don't see your name pop up in my stream element spot, let me know and I'll add you as well. You guys keep skipping over that one.
which was that? Which one
I'm
do I
sorry,
keep skipping over?
BK Dan, can you clarify? I don't want to skip over anything.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to know what's being skipped over to know what's being skipped over.
Maybe he means a certain chat.
Probably,
But he
I'm
says keep
guessing.
skipping, so that sounds like something more than once.
Yeah, it sounds like it for sure.
I'm the episode ends quite abruptly after the creature goes back to his under sand castle or whatever's under the sand
Crater.
crater.
Sure
No, I
does.
know it's a crater, but like
The
what's
creature
under
from the
that sand?
crater.
Yeah, I know it's a crater, but what's under the sand? Really, we don't know. It could be a castle. I don't know.
You are, and what I was
Anyway,
thinking is production, as far as production, I'm guessing he had an oxygen tank down there to breathe with.
Must have been. I
gotta
was
be
thinking,
something.
man, he's going to suffocate, right, in all that sand.
Yeah, because especially in the scene where they introduced him earlier, he takes a lot of time coming out of that sand. So I'm guessing he probably had like a little oxygen tank under there with him.
Must have. Must have. Still, we don't ever see this creature again, I'm guessing, do we?
I don't
No.
know.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Probably
Oh,
on
do
Voice
we?
of the Bottom of the
Oh.
Sea.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the guy in the fursuit. Okay, that's a good one, Pop.
Right.
Yeah. Irwin
But
did love to reuse those costumes, didn't he?
he did. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, hey,
I love
budget
Voyage
if
of
it
the Bottom of
works,
the Sea
right?
as well. Voyage of the Bottom of the Sea is another show that had a monster of the week.
Oh, did it ever? Well, it's like Lost in Space. Season 1 didn't have so much the monster of the week, and same with the Voyage. It was more like, interesting. Well, in Voyage, it was like more political,
Well, Voyager was
political
like
stuff, right?
espionage and political in the beginning, but then it turned to monster in the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Season 1 was
Batman
like,
came out, right? BK Dan says this is when he's talking about the skipping. I think if anyone's wanted to DM me on Twitch, I can explain how I died Christmas Eve.
oh, you got to be kidding. That sounds pretty. Nah, that's really,
Yeah,
man, that's
I'm sorry,
downbeat. Wow.
BK Dan.
Yeah,
Jeez.
sorry if I'm skipping the chat. I didn't think I was missing any. And
Sorry about that, Dan.
Mikey's chat. Here's Mikey's chat, Jill.
Well, we're
Yes,
glad
sir.
you're still with us, Dan. Thank you putting that there, Jill.
And BKJ says, I'm in a group thread. BT Rakul, look for me there.
I'm not sure what that means.
He has a group
Thank
chat.
you,
Like
Jill.
I guess like we have our stream sharing group.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Raquel's. Is it Raquel six? Was it 633? Well, I can't remember her name. Hi,
Jill
739
should
or
know it.
whatever the hell it
Jill
is.
should know it.
It's a number of Trek episodes, I believe.
So if
BK
he's
Dan.
735, then
BK Dan says had to split it up too because too long. Okay, I understand that, BK Dan. But like I said, I'm glad you're with us now. Lemon Pie says hello, Jedi Bill.
then one or a couple more.
There's Scogly. Yep, Scogly's channel. Check it out, everyone. Here, I'll take over Gorilla. Now that
Okay.
I clear my throat. BK Dan, rest your voice for a minute, Gorilla. BK Dan says, weird because someone in chat saw to don't know why anyone else didn't see.
Oh, I
Well,
can
if we skip
ever.
chats, if we skip chats, it is not intentional, you guys.
Yeah,
It's
and
accidental because there's so many of them. So we do apologize deeply, and we thank you for bringing that to our attention.
yeah, and I noticed this on a couple of different channels too, where someone will type something in YouTube there, but it will not show up on StreamYard. It's very rare, but it does occasionally happen on some streams.
Okay, that was
Especially if especially if like two chats get submitted at the same time, it may skip
uh-huh.
them.
Yeah, YouTube can be kind of a little bit quirky at times and miss stuff. Just like notifications, right? Sometimes I'll be totally subbed, I'll have notifications on, and I still won't get the damn notification once in a
Yeah,
while.
sorry to hear that.
No,
Okay,
usually it works, but every once in a while, YouTube will mess it up, right? So,
Vicky Dan says, bye, Raquel. Was Raquel here?
was
Bye,
Raquel here?
Raquel.
I
If
didn't
Raquel, if
notice.
you were here, hello and goodbye.
I haven't checked the
No,
chat in ages.
I think that's his group
Yeah,
name.
that's it. Yeah, yeah, she's really cool. BK Dan says Raquel SSG 2211. Yeah, she's very cool. I love Raquel. Jedi Bill says, may I please get a wrench? You don't have one? Hold on, Bill. I'll do that now. Let me see
Bella, I
where.
want to ask you, what happened to the 797?
Yeah, he said he didn't want to talk about it.
Oh,
Really?
cool.
Oh, you asked him to.
No, he mentioned it on Bert's channel, I think,
I
or
got you.
was it another ground, one of the two?
All right, Bill. You
Didn't
are
know that
now
was
a
going to
wrench.
be such a dramatic thing.
There you go, Bill. You're now a wrench. You can feel free to say something if you want, and you'll see.
Well, that's the
I'm
thing of
surprised.
drama, Jill. You never know where it's going to come from, right?
Oh, he just dropped it. Now he's Jedi Bill.
Okay,
So
there
how
we
are we
go.
doing? We must be more chat.
The
The thread
thread
by
you
Raquel SG1, not by Raquel. Wait, I
yeah,
gotta
but I
get
think if
I gotta
but
look
I
close
think
at
if
this one.
yeah, but I think if you want to be in those threads, you have to be invited.
Oh, he said no. He said the thread by her. I hadn't heard not by her like goodbye. But I didn't. What threw me off is I wasn't sure what you meant by the thread. I don't know what the thread means.
Just like
Sorry.
our stream elements group or our streaming group on
Okay,
Twitter.
gotcha. Thank you. Sean Carter says I don't think I've seen a light turn green in 10 years. Jedi Bill says thank you, Jedi Bill. Hail, brother. You are most welcome. Okay, now we're getting to the end of the episode here. We're wrapping it up, and we're going to come up to what they call.
Yeah, it's the cliffhanger. They're. I like the idea of the next episode that they're going to try to find a new fuel source.
Right. This is you were asking me earlier, Jill. Earlier stream is when how they're going to deal with the fuel, and I said they start mining it somehow. I couldn't remember exactly,
Yeah, so Judy has a Geiger counter, but they don't call it a Geiger counter. They call it a radioactive counter.
which is interesting because Geiger counters existed back then. Maybe they wanted to sound more futuristic, which I don't know if it necessarily sounds more futuristic. That's the
I just
richest
want.
baby found yet. So this is where we will see in a few episodes where they slowly start collecting more and more fuel to get off this planet. So, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, they do eventually. Yeah. I just want to mention though the drilling rig they're using there. I believe was last seen in episode 7. My friend Mister Nobody.
Well, it was also used in Friendly Stranger. Remember when the cowboy jumped in front of it before it ran into
Okay.
them?
Okay. But I mean, it hasn't been used too often, right? So we're seeing a reappearance of it again here, which
Yeah,
is
and we'll
kind of
see it
fun.
again. We'll see it again.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Feeding us the heart out, producing deuteronium fuel for us. Excuse me. Sorry, I hate to cough on mic. As long as it produces enough for us to get off this. Well, can you go back to that last slide? 'Cause I remember it was funny what he said. Blast off from this wretched planet. That's right. I have to look really close because my laptop's far away. Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
So now we have our hope that that they have a way to they figure out a way to get off that planet. They're just drilling for neutronium, which apparently is a fuel that Jupiter 2 uses. Mikey says, "Welcome, Wrench brother. We're going to need a few more canisters of that before you know we'll be on the out in on the heavens." And suddenly, poor Professor Robinson, something wraps around his leg and starts dragging him into this pit. And of course, he asked Doctor Help of all people, asked Doctor Smith for help. Give me your hand. Help! Help! Somebody help!
Dr. Smith would be the very last person on the planet that I would take with me to do anything.
Well, what I would do is I would try to at least grab his foot and drag him in with me if he's not going to help me.
He's too far away, though, right?
Yes, he is.
But I'd say like Dawn. Yeah, I'd even take Will. I mean, Will for freaking out loud would be much more useful in that scenario, right?
Yeah, we covered this on my Gilligan's Island stream. Is it, uh, quicksand was a big plot device back in the '60s, so you see it in a
Oh,
lot of
was it
westerns and TV
ever?
shows.
Was it ever? Yeah.
Was it ever? So we all know how he's going to get out just by any of us kids from the '60s or old people that were kids in the '60s always know how they pulled people out of
We know he won't die, that's
quicksand.
for sure.
Right. So perfect. Thank you for
Uh,
getting that clip of that cliffhanger there, Jill.
You're
Great
welcome.
cliffhanger. Great cliffhanger.
BK Dan says Jill's in that thread called Raquel SG2211 F server. Jill's also in thread the network. And BK Dan says, search me out, BK Dan 74. Mikey says, I always love the Loftus Space Cliffhanger theme at the end of every episode. Yes, it is fantastic. BK Dan says, I was barely not from the 60s. I see early 70s kid there, I guess. And by the way, I want to remind everybody that I put a poll in the chat. Feel free if you'd like to vote on what you
No,
think
I
about this
voted. I
episode.
voted before I even came on tonight, because like I always do. Because
All right, I'm going to go ahead
I
and
like
show
to
the.
just get it out of the way early. So
Well, all right. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and then show the results. Sorry, we're running a little late, everybody. I'm trying to hurry this up.
we're not doing too bad. It's not quite 9 yet, so we're
But
like
not
not
for
even.
us. But remember, this is 11 and sometimes 12 for some people. That's the problem.
That's true. Yeah, I keep
Yeah,
forgetting about
you got to remember that.
time zones. Yeah. Still, we only were like 20 minutes late.
Well, yeah, I gotta go watch The Deadly Years.
Oh my God! I hope I can be there tomorrow, Jill. I'm in the hospital,
Right. I
but
understand if you can't
I'm
be
right. I'm going to watch it tomorrow, tonight, just like you. And I'm
there.
hoping they don't pull me out during that time tomorrow.
And that could happen. And I understand.
Okay.
Your
Well,
health is more important, especially moving things along and figuring out what's going on.
right. Hoping to get test results is what. That's
Yes.
the big. Yeah, that's my real life cliffhanger.
Hmm.
That
So
is
what
a
grade
real
would
life
you?
cliffhanger. Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Yeah. Of course, they do the test on a Friday, and they say, well, the weekend's coming up, and then it'll be a couple days, and it's like of
No,
all time. Can't you do the test on a damn Monday?
I know, I know, I know.
Right.
You always got to wait for the damn test results, right? I went did a bunch of tests in November, December, and I was waiting for like a month to get the damn things back.
Yep, that happens.
God, I hope
So
it doesn't take a month.
no,
Yeah,
it
hopefully it'll be
should.
next week.
It depends on what doctor I speak to. Some of them say a couple days, some say a couple weeks, but
Oh,
I'll just say from when I had a doctor speak to me today, I'll say the results are trickling in.
well,
I
some
learned
next few
I
days
learned
that'd be
partial
great.
result. I never mind. What grade would you give one of our dogs is missing? So A plus to A minus looks like great, 66%. Excellent. B plus to B minus, 33%. C plus to C minus, 0. And D plus to F minus, 0. So majority of people liked it, which I'm happy to see that. I enjoyed it as well. We had a total of 12 votes. Thank you, everybody, for voting.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Good night to Dalek451.
Oh,
Good night,
night, Dalek.
Dalek. Thank you for joining us, Dalek. It's so good to see you again. I haven't
Yeah, it
seen you on
must
my
be getting
channel in a
real
long
late for
time.
Oh,
Dalek. Wow,
night, Alec.
must be middle of the night for Dalek. Jeez.
5 a.m.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I try to
Wow,
keep these short because I do consider there's people from all over.
it
Okay,
really
Jill.
isn't possible though
Jill,
to
hold
you
on,
know.
PvP, please. Okay, Jill, give us your review and tell us about your channel. Your channel, please.
Sure thing. I give this episode an A because finally we have an episode in which the author realizes that the women of the Jupiter 2 are also scientists capable of self-preservation in the final frontier. At first, I thought they were just going to wait for the men to take action once again like they do so often. So I was so glad to find out that I was wrong the moment that Marine decides to go out to find out what happens to the others, and they get to investigate the strange occurrences, carry weapons, conduct scientific experiments, and subsequent research, set up force fields, and discuss scientific history. However, some things are strange, like how they leave the doors open. Maybe they're not as trained in the security measures that should be done to protect the Jupiter 2, and they don't keep backup charges or batteries for the force field. So what's the deal there? And I still really love this episode because even when the men return, Judy does she still tries to protect herself by throwing rocks at the creature. And so this episode's just fun because all just because the author remembered that the women on the show are here and they're people and they can do stuff. So except of course when the men return, Maureen doesn't go out looking for Will. So I'll let that one go since that's the only transgression really I see there. And although the episode already put her in danger, they could have just done it again. So as cool as it was to give everyone something to do, we also have Will taking down the creatures. We never seen him. Um, I haven't seen him. Has he shot something before? Is this the first time that Will
He
shoots a
shot the
creature?
giant.
Oh, the giant! Yeah, I forgot about the giant. Thank you.
Uh huh.
So the second time Will does that, and the only thing I don't like about it is that we don't get to really know the guy with the horns. So what I do like is that no one succeeds in killing him, so he gets to go back home. And hopefully he'll leave the Robinsons alone out of self-preservation in the future, but you said he does return, so I guess we'll find
Yeah.
out.
Well, no, I was joking. He doesn't show up on Lost in Space, but in a different show.
Oh, okay.
Right, and he needs to find his girls somewhere else. I guess maybe he was looking for a girl.
Mhm. That's it.
Oh, Lake
And
That's
Street
my
up
what
in
about?
review.
Minneapolis.
Tell us about your channel, Jill.
Yes, my channel is the same as my name, Antiderivative Jill. I review science fiction, namely a whole lot of Star Trek, but also other movies and TV shows. And I also like to talk about, I also sometimes like to talk about the science that inspires these science fiction shows and movies. And tomorrow I'll be reviewing Star Trek the original series. Well, we're on season 2, The Deadly Years. And on
And I hope I'm
Friday,
there. I hope I'm there.
yeah. Me too.
I'll probably
And on
spend most
Friday, oh
half the
man, what am I
time
doing
talking
on
about the
Friday?
makeup, probably, but oh well.
Masters and Commanders. I think I'm doing on Friday.
Oh, is that the Russell Crowe movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I hear it's good, but I haven't seen it yet.
Me neither, but apparently there's some thematic ties to Star Trek, so I'll have to check it out.
Oh, and I know it's popular, and that's one of Russell Crowe's favorite movies that he did. I saw an interview with
Mhm.
him, and they asked him.
All
I
I
don't know if
see
that.
is a
I don't
big
know if that
ship,
helped.
so
The
I'm
big
gonna check.
ship.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, thank you, Jill. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Gorilla, you have a voice left to give us a review, maybe, and tell us about your channel.
I'm almost tempted to abstain from voting because I did not get a chance to finish the episode. I still have 15 minutes left in it.
I'm sorry. Did that link
Yeah,
work that I sent you?
yeah, but yeah, I had such a busy night tonight. I didn't get a chance to actually finish it there.
Well, how about this? As a concession, give us a review of what you saw so far.
Well, it's pretty nice to know that they're starting to. Well, you can tell like the technology did not age well in this there. Like they still have like handheld things they got to talk to instead of like just having like a set of headphones and stuff. But we've seen that multiple times. But also like for their force field, they should have had like some kind of solar thing charging the batteries as the force field was kind of up. To
Hmm.
keep it charged instead of it dying after what 20 minutes.
Well, they didn't establish. They didn't establish how long it was on. It could have been several hours between scenes.
Yeah, but they should have had like a solar charger,
well,
type thing.
it's because they hadn't invented solar at that point, so that's the only reason why they didn't think of it. What they should have had is
Yeah,
Gilligan. They should have Gilligan over there peddling it, right?
yeah. So
Oh, that would give Bloop something to do.
That's true, huh? Maybe
but
that's where Bloop is. Bloop is downstairs working on the engines or something.
but I did like
Sorry,
the
go
aliens
ahead.
in it, and I liked how they established that the aliens were just as scared yeah, as they as of us as they are of them. And of course, if the aliens ever ran into people like Doctor Smith, it'd be war instead of like a peaceful encounter like we had with the Vulcans in Star Trek. And
Yeah,
that's another thing is Star Trek wasn't afraid to glue something onto the animal to make it look exotic. Take perfect example would be the dog in The Enemy Within, where they glued that horn to it.
well, you're assuming it was a glue. I'm guessing it had a strap around it. And it
Well,
kind of put it over the head,
uh,
maybe.
uh, no, well, maybe. Oh,
Yeah,
I know.
I doubt they glued the horn to the head.
Well, I just assumed it was glue because you could tell it was glue in Voyager when they ran into those Borg babies that they glued implants on top onto their faces, onto the babies.
Gotcha.
But
Now,
so
when you say glue, so you're speaking of spirit gum.
Yes.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, it's kind of like the reason I said glue is because that's kind of like joking a couple of groups where they'll show those pictures of all the babies and kids to there go Star Trek's never afraid to glue anything to these faces and stuff.
That's
So
right.
Yeah,
I,
right. Like Tom and Balana's baby.
yeah, so I'm gonna give it a B. There's a few things that dragged it down, but there's a few things that brought it up.
Well done.
All right.
Oh, I'm
And
so
your
happy.
channel?
So
My
as
roommate,
for
my roommate, I can see him on the dog camera. He just came home and he's feeding the dogs. I'm so happy. And aw, he's
Well,
picking up
that's
the
good.
poop. I know. I'm
Right.
watching, and I'm watching to see if the female comes out to eat. I hope she's okay.
Gosh, yeah, let's hope.
Yeah, I feel better already.
That's a good sign, though. Good sign. Stay positive, Pop.
I'm glad I was monitoring and watching. Yeah, he just got home. It was very nice of him. I could really figure out some way of repaying him. That's a lot. I mean, he's even picking up the poop and the dirty newspapers and everything. That's very kind.
That's very, very good. Yeah.
yeah, No,
So you
persons in need, people are usually pretty nice like that.
now tell us about your channel, Gorilla. How's that going?
Alrighty, so Wednesdays we have Dark Mirror, and then Fridays we got the Walters reviews. There won't be any Babylon 5 this Saturday because I'm pretty sure that's our family get together, and I won't be home in time to do Babylon 5. Sunday we were watching some movie where a guy from Indiana's either watching the bunch of Christians go raid the Muslim areas or which they call the Crusaders, or either that to join these guys taking over the Muslim area. It's called Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Uh, um, I do have a lot of shorts there. I'll be doing a lot of fishing shorts, especially if I actually catch something. So and I might show some of the good baits that you can buy and stuff, and what they're good for and stuff. Because I used to make the stuff, so I know like a lot of this stuff. I used to make it all. And there's just a bunch of random shorts. Check them out. People say I'm funny. Well, some people say I'm funny. Some people just say I'm retarded. You guys can decide.
Well, I think you're funny. And where are you going to be tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah, well, I'll be on Jedi Bill's channel once I get home from work. I don't have the kid tomorrow, so I'll be good.
Hooray,
Um,
that'll be fun.
Gorilla, can you help me finish up? I'm going to mute for a minute.
Alrighty, so PvP, how about you give us your review?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that. Hey, I think you're funny too, Gorilla. By the way, I think you're hilarious, man. Uh, yeah, I gave this episode a B plus. Uh, it might have been higher, but there were some things in it that I didn't like. The fur monster I thought was kind of lame looking, to be quite honest. It's just basically a guy in a fursuit with a couple of fangs, right?
Oh,
So
that's my favorite part.
I it just didn't do it for me because the previous episodes were so creative with some of the weird aliens that they had, which I thought were really awesome. This one was kind of like pedestrian. Um, so yeah, I dock it a point for that. But I did, push it up into the B plus range for several reasons. First, the puppy was cool, like the puppy, um, and I thought it was really great that they finally had an episode where the women, sort of took charge and were the dominating theme in the episode. Packing some laser pistols, on those holsters on their hips. That was pretty fun. Um, and yeah, overall, it was an episode. I didn't think there was a heck of, when you really think about it, it's like, okay, we got a puppy and we got a fur monster, crawling out of a sandpit, and that's pretty much the episode. Like, there wasn't a heck of a lot going on, so that's kind of another reason that kept it out of the A range for me. But as I say, seeing the ladies, take charge and finally having a central role in the episode definitely boosted it up for me into the B plus range. So yeah, I think it's a good episode. Not one I'd probably rewatch too often, but still, it was pretty solid. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess, for my review.
Okay.
I'll watch it if I need to see a puppy take Dr. Smith hostage.
There you go. It was kind of fun seeing Penny with her new puppy friend too. Even though it's like, oh geez, what happened? What happened to the bloop? The bloop is gone.
Yeah, they took away my cousin, Automatic F.
Yeah, it's like, geez, what happened? I don't think we ever see the bloop again.
Is
To be
Pop back yet?
sad.
I gotta go for a second, kid. Is Pop back?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess not. He's not talking. But
Well-
if you want to read some chat, we can.
I gotta go. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
We
Okay.
adj-
Well. I don't know
myself
where
and
we are in the chat, so I guess we can't do that. But
myself and Jill can chatter on endlessly about
oh,
something. I'm sure.
did you talk about your channel?
I did all. Well, actually, no, I didn't mention my rock and roll
Okay.
channel.
Okay, talk
Okay,
about your
okay, Jill. I will kill a minute or two talking about my my channel. It's basically music because I still haven't figured out how to do live streams, which I would hope to someday. It's basically rock and roll. I'm actually working on a couple of streams. I'm actually working on this really, you won't believe this. I'm working on a crazy live stream. Oh, not a live stream, but a stream with songs that are under 3 minutes or less. It was my theme because I'm thinking I'm getting bored with this, right? Like, probably people watching it are getting bored too. Even though I put up a lot of interesting albums, it's like I got to come up with a theme here. So I over the last week, I thought, okay, I'll do songs that are like around 3 minutes or less. But the problem is, there's so many great songs under 3 minutes that I'm probably up to like three or four hundred in the bloody list now, and I haven't gone live yet, of course, because it's going to take me weeks to try and edit this thing, right? So yeah, but yeah, it's basically music at
That's
this
really
point.
cool. If you're getting into edited videos and you make a great edited video, I'd love to see it.
Oh,
That
I
might be
hope.
your ticket.
That'd be cool. I really hope someday, Jill, I can get my act together and do some, stuff that's worthwhile. I mean, I don't think anything on my channel is up to the par of what you're doing or what Pop's doing or what Gorilla's doing. I'm still trying to figure it out and muddle along. But
Well, all you have to do is talk about what you know. Maybe you do just make an edited video where you splice in just tiny bits of the music, but not enough to get you a strike.
oh, yeah, that's
And
scary though.
right,
There we
and then
go.
You,
talk about it. It is scary.
YouTube's copyright stuff is so nuts though. Like I mean, it's not like I watch a lot of reaction channels because most of them are kind of repetitive and boring. But there are a few I sub to that are kind of fun, right? And there was one recently where they're like we're done because we got like all these copyright strikes from the Eagles, right? And they were just like the channel's like screwed,
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Maybe you can just describe the music and just tell
Yeah,
people what the song is, and maybe you can show a bit of the music video, but not actually play the song so they know what
probably
song you're talking about.
probably Joe. What I would do is I just post a link to the music video or the music
Mm,
and just let folks click on that and go discover it for themselves, right?
I
Because
suppose.
I don't want to be pompous
Uh,
enough to think like I'm an expert on music. Like
No,
everybody has different tastes, right? So
no, that's the point of your channel to show what you know. So
yeah, well, yeah,
maybe
I'd
someday you'll
love
do
to do a
that.
live stream talking
But
about some.
are you back, Pop Culture?
I am
Are you
back.
there? Oh,
Okay,
okay.
go
Welcome
go for
back.
it,
We were
Pop.
just
I'll
vamping.
I'll shut up now. You do your thing, man.
Oh, Gorilla gone?
Gorilla had to step away for a
He had
bit.
to step away, but I think he will be back in a minute.
Okay. I wanted to personally thank everybody in the chat for stopping by tonight. I really appreciate it, especially for those of you extra patient people who waited the extra 20 minutes or more for us to actually start the actual live stream instead of talking to ourselves in the back room.
that was pretty. That was pretty funny, actually.
It's
Yeah.
I've done that before too. It happens to everyone.
It's no
And it
big
was
deal.
nice. We had some new people drop in, which makes me really happy. I hope you
Yeah,
enjoyed. For those of you, if you're new, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're
that
watching
was
this from a
nice.
rerun, I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe consider, if you liked it, considering hitting the like button and maybe sub to my channel. I have other things on there as well. If you look at my main page, I have other streams that you might be interested in as well. And if you can, please join most of us, tomorrow on Jedi Bill stream at 4 p.m. Pacific time, where we're going to be doing. Believe me, the last thing I hate to do is ask, but it's a fundraiser so that I can hopefully move to Arizona and to be with Jedi Bill and Nina. Nina's very sweet. Oh, but first I should say I forgot my review of the episode. What am I doing? Okay, I don't know if this is going to surprise you guys or not, but I give it a C. I like it, and there's because it's got a plus and a negative, and they both counterbalance equally. So really like the part that the women get a larger role, that they're more dominant. Maureen seems smarter. She's not seen dumb. I like the fact that she showed her anger towards Dr. Smith, and that the writer, like Jill said, the writer went out of the way to establish and give the women some screen time, which is rare. But on the balance, the other side of it, which brings it to a C, is that it's basically an episode when if you sum it up as someone to say, describe me what it was about. Well, they find a ship, they find a dog, they find a monster. The end.
You
So
know,
they
I
didn't
gotta
advance
say,
the plot much, if that makes any sense.
I actually totally agree with you, Pop. Like, I was actually going to give it like in the C range last night after I watched it too. And the only reason I bumped it up into the B range was because of all the action that the ladies got, to finally, show themselves as being, competent, interesting individuals, right? But I
Well,
agree
maybe I'll
totally
give it a
with
B minus. Maybe I'll give it a B minus because I do
yeah,
like the fact that I got to see the women do more. That I appreciated.
that was the only
But
thing that
I
saved
didn't
it
like.
for me.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a fan of the old trope of the monster that hides behind the bushes during most of the movie.
Well, yeah, I just thought, the doggy was there for the kitties, like that was pretty contrived, and then the monster was like some guy in a fursuit. So he's not like as cool as the Gorn or or some of the cool Star Trek monsters, right? So it was just like it was like a fail for me. The only thing that saved it, like you said, was the ladies getting to shine,
Yeah.
for a change.
Hey, Pop, I gotta back out here.
I know. I'm sorry, Gorilla. I
No,
apologize.
no, it's not. It's not because it's late. I got something
Oh,
that came up.
It is late. It's
hey,
11:15.
do we
No,
know where we are
no.
in the chat before you go, Gorilla?
Yes, it's starred there, but something just came up. I gotta go.
Got it.
Okay,
All
I
right.
hope
Thank you,
everything's
Gorilla.
okay.
Have
And
a
Yeah,
good night, Gorilla.
Feel
Have a
better.
good night,
I
Matt.
hope you feel better.
yeah,
We'll
should
see
be
you
fine.
soon.
I should be fine by the morning here.
Thank
All right,
you.
see ya.
And I
See
driven
good
ya.
Jill
night.
in the chat says
Bye.
BK Dan's Twitter. There's a link to BK Dan's Twitter. And BK Dan says 70. Don't want to show that right now. BK Dan says, thank you, Jill. Why is this such a pain? BK Dan says, right before midnight here. So yeah, see, that's exactly my point. And we've got to start getting these streams down. It's upsetting me that they're lasting this long. And it's not, it's totally unnecessary. I mean, us having a good time and talking about it is good, but I'm blaming myself. I'm basically talking to myself. I need to get the tangents cut down. Mikey Seussworth says, not a problem for us retirees. I know, but some people do have to work like Gorilla. Mikey says time zones, ha, LAMO, Lamau. Dalek says, or almost 5 a.m. for some others. Good night, all. Good night, Dalek. Oh, are you up all night? Wow. Mikey says, good night, Dalek. BK Dan says, later, Dalek. And BK Dan says, Jill's going to type at you later about it if you want. Okay. BK Dan says,
All
oh, he's
right.
correcting the spelling. Okay. Let's see here.
Oh, I already have that. You don't have to show
BK
that.
Dan says, type at you later about Christmas Eve, Jill, if you don't mind.
Christmas Eve? What's Christmas
Sounds
Eve
like a.
about?
Well, he says that he
Remember, that's
almost
what we said.
lost
He
his
almost,
life.
yeah, he almost died. Remember?
Oh shit. That's
BK,
scary.
PvP.
What?
BK Dan says it's probably going to be a longer message, and I'd rather Jill. Captain Finney says, is
Wow.
this the re-rub? No, not quite yet. I know, but it's been long enough. You probably think so, Captain. Check out my review of Mirror Mirror tomorrow evening, says Captain Finity. That will be great. And Captain Finity, that's an excellent episode of review, and I completely agree with you. Daniel's Hot Topic says, bye, Gorilla. Captain Finity says, or for me tomorrow morning. Oh, okay. Daniel says, danger, Will Robinson, danger. And Captain Finity says, hoping to get Bill Shatner on my panel tomorrow. Ooh,
Oh,
wow.
that would
Let us
be
know.
very wow, that's
But
nice.
you might learn from Red Letter Media that William Shatner doesn't like going on podcasts. Although recently he was on a podcast. So
Right. If you're going to try it, make sure you wear the right shirt. Mikey says, bye, Gorilla. And Captain Infinity says, it's not likely, but we are hoping.
Mhm.
Captain,
Well,
depending on
give
what
it a
time it
shot.
is, I'll try to be there after we have a fundraiser going on Captain Infinity's channel to hopefully help me get to Arizona.
Jedi Bill's channel,
What did I say?
Yeah.
Affinity.
Oh, sorry, I'm tired.
But that's
Yeah,
okay. We
Me too.
do. It is
I do
about
want to
time
say
to
that
go.
right. It's Jedi Bill's channel. We have a fundraiser at 4 p.m. tomorrow, and which is Tuesday. I don't think we're going to have our uh, Gorilla's Island, Gilligan's Island stream this week. Once again, I feel terrible because I usually make slides for that, but I don't have my. Wait a minute, maybe I do have my Gilligan's Island files on my hard drive. I think when I was preparing ahead of time to go to the hospital, I think I may have put it on my external hard drive here on my laptop. Yes, I did. Okay,
Excellent.
so tentatively speaking, yes, we will have Gilligan's Island on Wednesday. Hopefully, Gorilla will be recovered from Tuesday.
Yeah, hopefully.
And Captain
Bless,
Kennedy says
bless them.
we did get Sean Young, so you never know. Ooh, how's she look? And Jim says, night, everyone. Good night, Jim. And
Night,
like
Jim.
I said, special thank you to all you on the chat. Thank you for voting.
Good night.
And even more so, everybody on the panel, spending your time with me and making this such an enjoyable experience. And
Wouldn't miss it.
I'm glad you guys
Wouldn't miss
like the
it.
show. And
Hey, Lost in
I mean,
Space is so good. I would never miss this.
well, I know you've heard me say it before, but even more so, this is definitely the highlight of my week. Believe me.
It's one of the highlights of my week. Definitely for sure. Probably the highlight of my week, actually. Just like you said, Pop.
Yeah, especially because believe me, it's very boring in this hospital. But YouTube and you guys are what makes everything worth it.
Well, we
So,
try. We try to contribute, right? So, yeah.
and you do it well. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to play a clip for next week's
Oh, yeah.
teaser for next week.
Cliffhanger.
Great. I have a feeling this next episode's going to be really good.
Well, I hope it's better than this one. I found this a little
It
flat.
means that your plan to leave this desolate cinder without me
There
is
we
going
go.
to change. We can't let that little worm force me to take him back and leave you in.
Good heavens. She's one of them?
Now get out of here. You'll regret this, Major. I promise you.
And that's
Okay,
That was
I'm
weird.
I'm getting Invasion of the Body Snatchers vibes from that one.
well, that's. I'll just say I'm not going to give away anything until we get to that episode. But this will be the first episode in the entire series where Judy gets a fairly large role, which is
Wow.
good.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's good for the actress, and she even said in interviews this is her favorite episode. And then
Excellent.
it's
Well, this
followed
is
by
gonna be a
another
good one.
fantastic. So yeah, we got 2 episodes at least coming up that are fantastic. By the way,
Great.
we've got cliffhanger you
Awesome.
saw is a really good one. So I'm talking about next week and the week after if I'm around to do that. So I will do my best. And I want to thank Jill. Thank you for the wonderful slides once again. You did a great masterful job, and I really
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah,
It makes it more fun to me for me too.
Jill slides are always perfect. Like
I know.
I could never hope for better slides than what Jill gives us.
Yeah, I wish I
Jill
could have brought that
rocks.
stupid book.
Yeah, we
Oh, we
need the
didn't need the
book.
book tonight though. We did okay without the book.
I like the production notes
Yes,
and stuff.
me too.
Oh,
That's
But
why I
great.
feel it's sorely missing.
Well, hopefully one of these days, next week or two, we'll get the book back and
Yeah, if I can get home as soon as possible. Daniel says,
yeah,
awesome
exactly.
cliffhanger, bro. Yes, Daniel, I agree. I think you'll like it. Yeah, and Daniel, once again, Daniel's new tonight. Thank you for joining us, Daniel. I think you'll have a blast with this show.
Yeah, come on,
And
Daniel. Watch the episodes. They're really good.
okay, so with that, everybody, Have a wonderful night. Take care. Drive safely if you
Yeah.
work tomorrow. And like I
You
said, I hope
too.
you see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. on Jedi Bill's channel. You'll find I have a link in my community tab on my page. It'll take you there. And he's a wonderful guy. And with that, peace and take care.